home title. Scammers are targeting your equity with just a single forged document they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Friday, the Supreme Court has ruled that Florida cannot implement its own immigration laws because, according to the Constitution, that's the job of the federal government. And it makes perfect sense. One state, say Florida, might harshly punish the undocumented, while another, paging California, might let everybody in without restraint. Immigration law is essentially a public safety situation that has morphed into an ideological battle. Generally speaking, liberals support humane policies with few restrictions on foreign nationals, while right-wingers want stringent regulations on who takes up residence in America. This is an ideological battle, as I mentioned. It really has nothing more to do with public safety because the federal government is in charge of making the laws. And that's why the Supreme Court threw out the Florida thing. Now, Congress should settle all of this. New laws are needed. You can be humane and disciplined at the same time. Government has an absolute right to limit entry into this country and to know exactly who's here. Thus, migrant registration is a must. If an undocumented person refuses to register with the government, gone. Some migrants should, however, get a break, like the Dreamers, children who were taken here by their parents. They had no choice. They should have a pathway to citizenship. Back in a moment. All Family Pharmacy offering a buy one, get one free sale from July 4th through the 13th. Don't miss this BOGO deal on essential medications like ivermectin and more. So if you have been meaning to stock up, now is the time to do it before the sale ends. Order online. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Another judge blocks part of President Trump's executive order, at least the application of it. We're talking about the birthright citizenship situation. We're going to chat with our friend Paul Curtman about that right around 6:35. Hey, good morning. Happy Flashback Friday to you. Yes, we are going to give away another pair of tickets to that Lita Ford and Dee Snider show on October 3rd. That's going to happen sometime in the 7 o'clock hour. Well, if you were listening yesterday, right around 8 o'clock, you heard the big announcement. The next station event that we are doing here, along with our friends at the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise, Steve Forbes is coming back to St. Louis. We are so excited to be a part of this, and we hope that you will join us on September 18th. Grant Black from the Hammond Institute was with us yesterday to kind of give us an overview of what we can expect and why this is going to be a special evening. I don't even think of him as a partisan political thing. This is one of those policy and thought leaders, because we got a certain stream of small libertarianism, free marketism, big free marketism. This is going to be a fascinating evening of discussion with whom?
Well, we're bringing in Steve Forbes.
Yes.
All right.
I am so excited about this. Steve Forbes coming to the Scheidegger Center at Lindenwood University. And for those of you who were at the event that we had with Walter Williams a few years back, same location, beautiful, beautiful theater. So let's go through the details. Then we'll kind of talk about what we can look forward to on this. So September what?
It's Thursday, September 18th. It will start at 7 p.m. Should go till about 8:30. We're going to have him kind of do a little bit more formal presentation to start with. And then we'll have some awesome Q&A time with him.
Now, is there a particular theme to this outing here? A lot of times we'll say, okay, we're going to focus on the freedom of this, or we're going to focus on these type of policies. Is there a particular focus that we're promoting here?
Well, he wanted to talk about how free enterprise and entrepreneurship make America great.
All right.
I think we're going to get a really great sort of history of the impact of these principles on the United States, a sense of what's going on now. And I think his take on the kinds of things that should be done to try to protect those freedoms, how important those principles are to really trying to expand and grow and sustain the U.S. economy.
Yeah, see, I'm subscribed to his podcast, and that's one of the things Forbes is really, really, really good at, is saying this may be wonky policy, but this is why it matters when it infringes on your freedom. And you don't have to be a wonky type person to completely understand this. And that's one of the themes that you hear with Steve Forbes, when you see him on, Fox or Newsmax, or you read his editorials, or you listen to his podcast, or whatever it is that you're consuming from him, is that he's got that common theme that says free markets and the related personal freedom aren't just good moral ideas, they're also prosperous ones.
Yeah, I think he's someone who has a really great grasp on what's going on in the economy, the kinds of things that shape it, how policies influence it, what's really good and bad. So I think you're going to get a lot of straight talk. Things that are very understandable and incredibly informative and useful for people. If you want to know, I think, what's really going on in the economy and thinking about how we might try to improve that, I think this is going to be the thing that you want to come check out.
Now, there is going to be, I think you mentioned a question and answer section.
Yeah, so
night.
When you register for tickets, you're going to get a link where you can go on even today and submit questions, and you can do that anytime up into the event. And so we're going to kind of gather those, digest those, and be able to kind of just sit down and chat with him about, hey, here's the kinds of things people are thinking about.
And the ticket cost is what?
So this is the incredible thing. You're going to get a whole evening with Steve Forbes for completely free.
That's crazy.
That's so,
crazy awesome. That's what that is.
That's exactly right. The Hammond Institute really wants to be a place that helps inform people, educate people, and make it available and accessible for everyone. We just certainly don't want cost to hold anybody back, and so this is completely free.
Yep. And so you do need to get a ticket, though, so register for the ticket.
Yes.
We've actually got the link now on our website, newstalkstl.com. I'm sure it's up at the Hammond Institute's website, hammondinstitute.org to find that, so you can find it through either one of these. So I want to take this from a couple different angles here. With Steve Forbes, of course, I've always really appreciated his writings and his speaking, and that's why I'm really excited. I've actually never met him before, so I'm looking forward to this. From those who are on the right, whether it's a partisan Republican or a conservative or somebody in the MAGA movement or got that small L libertarianism, you're going to get, I think, an appreciation for his free market, but also the way that he bleeds that over into, it's not just about numbers and charts. This is about human flourishing and prosperity. This is why it makes life better for him. Now, for those who are, we got some folks who listen who are on the left, which I really am appreciative of. He's also somebody who can say, let's talk about this. And he's not a hyper partisan. He's not one of those who brings out the metal sword and starts attacking people and calling names. He engages on a very real level. And I think even if you leave and you don't necessarily agree with everything you had to say, you're going to have a lot to think about and chew on.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to make this great. Whatever you believe and walk away with, I think you're going to get a sense of, the arguments, the ideas, the beliefs that are underlying a lot of these issues and give you a lot to kind of chew on and mull over. And I think that's the beauty of this.
Yeah, because there's an increasing amount of obviously disagreement, and we're starting to feel more of the effects of policy stuff where you're talking about tariffs, you're talking about the new tax and spend bill, you're talking about defunding different priorities. I mean, you've got all of this stuff that has been sort of bottled into partisan framework. And here you've got Steve Forbes, who is really good at saying, let's look at the big picture and how this affects you.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think you're going to get a sense of, all of these kinds of issues, whether it's the taxes, the tariffs, interest rates, jobs, investment, whatever it may be. But he's going to couch it in sort of a big picture of these key principles that should be underlying everything we do. So I think that's important too. How do we sort of wrap our minds around these kinds of issues and sort of try to tackle them with a sensible kind of way? And I think that's what he's going to really be presenting, his view on that.
That's really cool. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is getting more, I don't want to say talking points, but getting more information so that I can feel more comfortable talking about these sorts of issues with others. I think one of the things that holds a lot of people back from engaging in sort of the political aspects of the economy is that they don't feel like they're qualified enough. They don't know enough to talk about these things. And when somebody says something that's clearly false or they come up with some weird conception of what capitalism is or whatever, we don't feel qualified to refute it. But in this case, we're going to get basically schooled on how to discuss these issues.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think this is a great guy to come here. This is someone who's certainly a real expert in understanding the economy, and I think making it real to people. He's been recognized in many, many ways. Obviously, he's a significant business leader himself as CEO and chair and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media. So he's been in the trenches. He knows what it takes. He's certainly seen it over many, many years. And so I think this is a great opportunity. I think people should recognize he hasn't been to the St. Louis area, and I think in like 18 years. So this is, a rare chance to experience him firsthand, live.
He was at 96, I think, that he ran for president.
96 and 2000.
Yeah. And what was interesting when he ran is that he really pushed the other candidates into answering for how free market they were going to be, how freedom based their policy proposals were, how much entrepreneurial freedom were they going to be. So he was really a force that helped direct the right when it came to protecting, preserving, promoting individual freedom, particularly when it comes to financial matters and when it comes to personal, business and things like that. So I think he's, even though obviously he didn't win the nomination or the presidency, I think he actually has had an impact on our lives already.
Yeah, I think definitely so. He's someone who, has stayed relevant for so many years, being an influential thought leader and an information share, and I think that's not going to slow down.
And there's going to be some people who come in and just saying, I'm really fans of, whether it's Forbes magazine or his Wall Street Journal writings or Fox News or podcast. There's just some people who say, hey, I just love his work. I want to come here. That's great. But what are maybe some of the mindsets or questions people should come in with to get the most out of an event like an evening with Steve Forbes?
I think really coming in with an open mind, wherever you are on the spectrum of, either what you understand or what you might believe on some of these issues. I think it's an event that's going to be good at just really learning. I think thinking about, why do these sort of fundamental principles perhaps matter so much in our lives, whether that's in, just a broad social context, in our economic context, but how do these really trickle down and impact my life? Why are, the principles of free enterprise, a thriving sort of entrepreneurial spirit, innovation, why do these things matter? And these are really rooted in a strong principle of freedom. whether that's social freedoms, economic freedoms. And I think that's the key of thinking about how do these things really impact our lives, and how we might then try to wrestle with, are these freedoms being, impacted, limited, and things like that, and what might be the repercussions of that.
Okay, so the warning here, I guess, is that when you come in and you get your free tickets and come spend an evening with us and with Steve Forbes, you're going to be provoked to think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
So there's your warning, is that this is a thinking person's event, which is what first of all, that I think when I found out about this, I'm just thinking this is the perfect fit, for what we do here. So I'm actually really excited about it. I suspect, just because I am of a similar mindset as Steve Forbes, I'm going to agree with most, if not everything he's going to say. But I also want to be open-minded to the fact that I may be challenged on something that I think that maybe we disagree on. So I think that's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, I think he can definitely raise issues you may not have thought too much about. Right. He's, I think, really well versed in all kinds of policies.
Oh, yeah.
Those kinds of things that a lot of people may not really be aware of. So, I wouldn't be scared off thinking, hey, this may be too heady or too intellectual. This is really for the common person. Mm-hmm. It's just a chance, I think, in an entertaining kind of environment to just hear some really good stuff. And kind of provoke you to think a little bit more, maybe perhaps challenge your beliefs or solidify those. Think about, hey, why do I really believe what I think I do?
We're going to leave the event with more intellectual stuff than we came in with, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Graham Black, Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise up at Lindenwood University. I've already put the link up on our Rumble chat. We've got it up on our website, but hopefully people will connect, if they haven't already, with the Hammond Institute and all the events that you have and the work that you're doing out there. What's the way to be in touch? And also, I would recommend people follow Ural's newsletter as well.
Yeah, so I think the easiest way for people to learn more about the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise is just to go to hammondinstitute.org. We're part of the Business College, the Plaster College of Business and Entrepreneurship at Lindenwood University. And we're really a research educational center that's really trying to just engage people, inform people. And so this Forbes event is part of our ongoing Langenberg speaker series. And so there's 2 events per year. This will be the one in the fall. There'll be another one coming in the spring. So get on the newsletter so you'll know the kinds of things like this Forbes event that can really just be thought-provoking and educational, informative. And we'd love for people to check out and get connected with us.
All right, once again, NewsTalkSTL.com. You can find the billboard there for the Steve Forbes event. Get your free tickets reserved today. My guess is this is probably going to sell out, so make sure that you can be there. This is 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
Analysis, opinion.
Federal agents are being attacked in the city of Los Angeles.
We have to get more people involved.
We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs, attorney at law, has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs, attorney at law. Call 636-949-0010, extension 3 today, or visit colecombs-law.com.
People ask all the time, who the heck is low-cost airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, another ICE raid on illegals makes the news. Something a little different about this one, though.
Yeah, and maybe we can learn more about that over the weekend as well, because no one has more local conservative talk in St. Louis than News Talk STL, and that includes our weekend programs. Our great Patriot Radio comes your way every Sunday afternoon. It starts with Jeffco Patriot Radio at noon on Sunday, followed by St. Charles Patriot Radio right after that at 1 p.m.
And regarding St. Charles Patriot Radio, I actually just looked up the social media post on that. You can find both shows have their own Facebook pages connected to News Talk STL. On this week's St. Charles Patriot Radio, and I actually just saw this a few minutes ago, all three candidates for St. Charles County Executive are going to be on the same program.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting because that's going to be a massively big race for St. Charles County.
So in other words, if you don't know who's running in St. Charles, you really have no excuse.
Oh, no.
We told you ahead of time.
Totally no excuse whatsoever. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so why am I not surprised to learn? This is serious stuff. I don't know why I'm laughing, except the real world has become so ridiculous. Why am I not surprised to learn that immigration enforcement was able to find a bunch of illegal aliens? 1, working in California, 2, working on a farm, 3, said farm makes marijuana. I'm not kidding.
Trifecta.
It's all right there. And I mean, if I were to write a comedy monologue with a stereotype that would offend the left, that's what I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, because I'm like, oh, even I can't go there on that. There's no way that would ever happen. I mean, it would, but I can't actually say it.
If we were to try to come up with a skit about this, we would be canceled so quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
I mean, they flew a helicopter into the middle of the pot plants. I mean, like a I don't know what kind of helicopter it was, but it was like, I mean, a big military thing. And then they had the guys in the geared out with all the, weapons, and people were protesting and like trying to jam. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Trying to jam Mexican flags on poles into the tires of the military vehicles that were going to get the illegal aliens. And then the protesters are getting hit with tear gas, pepper spray. And so they start dunking themselves and dousing themselves in milk.
Okay, where did they get the milk
I don't
from?
know. I mean, it's just too stupid for me. I couldn't have written this. I mean, if we had gone to like ChatGPT or something and said, ChatGPT, write an offensive stereotype about illegal aliens from south of the border being caught, and where would you, I mean, this is what it would come up with. We all look at that, go, oh, we can't say that. That's too much. Even for conservative radio, we would never, because we're going to get canceled. We just get. That's exactly what happened.
We are living in a South Park episode. I swear.
Yes,
Holy,
yes.
So they came in to do their job to get rid of the illegals,
right?
In a marijuana farm that also happened to have Mexican flags on handy to try to impede.
Well, the protesters did.
The protesters.
Yeah,
Okay, so the protesters showed up, and then they apparently were like, "We should bring milk with us."
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a tactic now, because I've never been pepper sprayed. I've never been tear gassed.
It's not fun.
That's what I've heard. My dad told me about it once, because when he went through his police officer training, you have to like go through the gauntlet of the tear gas to experience it. So I guess milk can, help deaden the pain or something.
It counteracts just a little tiny bit, but it's not enough to where you're going to feel very good for quite a while afterwards.
I would think so. Yeah. So maybe that's like a tactic now that's like, hey, bring this in case you get pepper sprayed. And then, by the way, you're going to be really sticky and really stink not too long after that. But then again, you look at a lot of these protesters, they're going to stink anyway.
Yeah, they probably don't shower very often. No,
it doesn't look like that's high on their like life priority list. Wow. Okay.
And milk spoils very quickly in the sun. I just want to remind people,
Yes.
summertime,
Yes.
milk does not fare very well on you in the heat.
Milk was a bad
A
choice. Good Lord. Oh, I had to reread. I'm like, okay, is this the Onion? No. Is this Babylon Beat? No, this happened. All right. My goodness. Okay. Interesting conversation we're going to have at 7:05. And I know I'm teasing a little farther ahead than I normally do, but I saw this from our friends at CFACT. We have them on from time to time. And there's a young meteorologist. So he just graduated. He's got his degree in meteorology. I don't think he's working for a TV station or anything like that, but most meteorologists actually don't. And so he was on social media responding to some things that an NPR reporter was saying in Kansas City. So this young guy who's got a degree for meteorology was pointing out, no, that's not correct. There's no evidence that man-made climate change caused all this. And I know who the reporter is. I don't think it's a big secret. I used to live in Kansas City. And I don't know the reporter. I know who he is because I worked in that market. Very left wing. I mean, it's NPR. I mean, it's very, very left wing. And he's very popular with, a lot of the statewide journalist groups and whatnot. And basically, this guy proceeded on social media to tell this young man who has a degree in meteorology, he doesn't know anything and he wasted all the money on his degree. He is, clearly wasted all of his time and money because he knows nothing, but the NPR reporter should be trusted with the science of all of this. And so we're going to talk to that young meteorologist at 7:05 who got into that spat. Yeah. So we've got him on the show.
Oh, fantastic.
And I've never talked to him before. I don't know him, but I know he's working with CFACT, so I know where he's coming from. But part of this is, yes, I want to talk about, okay, we're getting the left rushing to go, oh, great, we've got a climate thing we can do. Let's climb over the bodies that have been killed of all these young people and children and to do our agenda. And then we've also got the idea that, but I'm a left-wing media personality. I'm from NPR. I know what's best. How dare you apply your scientific education? And don't get me wrong, somebody comes right out of college, I'm like, you actually don't know anything yet. But here's somebody who just spent years actually studying it, and he questioned and said, well, actually, that's not correct, pointed out some facts, and gets raked over the coals by a stodgy, NPR dude.
Yeah, trust the science unless it comes from a scientist.
No,
apparently.
no, we don't do that.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor-fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Experience the true flavors of Mexico at Dos Primos, O'Fallon's premier Mexican restaurant. From sizzling fajitas to homemade caldo de pollo, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and traditional recipes, all made fresh daily in our kitchen. Cool down with our famous margaritas or your favorite cerveza, while our friendly staff makes you feel like family. Dine in or carry out. Visit DosPrimosMexicanRestaurant.com or find us on North Main in O'Fallon.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, and this week on Serenity Wealth Now Radio, we've got very special guest. News Talk STL's very own Jeff Allen joins us in the studio. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes News Talk STL so successful in serving the St. Louis community and what's going on in the local radio scene. So tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., and always on SerenityWealthNow.com and social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. It's been 1 week since devastating flash floods killed at least 120 people in Texas. Andrews County Assistant Fire Marshal Jeremy Prophet says the search for missing people continues, thanks in large part to volunteers.
Now, those people will be cycling through. Obviously, the treacherous work that they're doing in the heat and humidity is only about a 2 to 3 day, maybe 4 day solid labor before we start having people fall out and get hurt.
President Trump visits hard-hit Kerrville, Texas this afternoon. He has praised the federal response to the disaster, even though he wants to phase out the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Correspondent Ben Thomas reports on the latest tariff news coming out of the Trump White House.
President Trump sent his latest tariff letter to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. It says he's raising import taxes on goods from Canada to 35%. That, of course, tops the 25% tariffs Trump first imposed in March. They were allegedly aimed at getting Canada to crack down on fentanyl smuggling, despite the relatively modest trafficking in the drug. Though Trump also expressed frustration with the U.S. trade deficit with Canada. That largely reflects American oil purchases. In his letter, Trump writes, the flow of fentanyl is hardly the only challenge we have with Canada, which he says has many tariff and non-tariff policies and trade barriers. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Protesters and federal agents clashed during an immigration raid at a Southern California farm near Camarillo. Authorities threw tear gas canisters to disperse the crowd. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said the officials, who arrived in military-style vehicles with a helicopter flying overhead, were executing a warrant at a marijuana facility. More at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
News Talk STL, the Hammond Center, and the Young Americans Foundation welcome Steve Forbes to Lindenwood University for an inspiring evening on how free enterprise and entrepreneurship make America great. Discover how free markets and small business drive innovation, prosperity, and opportunity. Thursday, September 18th at Lindenwood University Scheidegger Center for the Arts. And this in-person event is free. Reserve your tickets now at hammondinstitute.org. Brought to you by Mid-Rivers and West News Magazines.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Just the convenience on the phone. Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime,
Everywhere.
anywhere. Mike Ferguson. Gabe Phifer.
You are a whip scientist and you could be a whip villain. Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
Thundercats.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewsTalk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
You just won Gabe over with that one.
That's my favorite now.
There it is. Right
That's
there.
my favorite one now.
All right, couple things here. One, I'm sleep deprived, so I'm in one of those weird moods. I'm just going to warn everybody. I'm in one of those weird moods here. So here's what's going on, dude. Where's my illegal worker, dude?
What happened?
Also, the governor completes the repeal of a voter-approved measure in Missouri. That might not be the end of the debate, though. This is still interesting.
Wow.
We told you this was coming, and so it happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if nothing else, the Cardinals are scrappy this season, I guess, if nothing else.
Scrappy, I guess, is the right word.
All right, 6:06 right now. Let's go ahead and do a news dump.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
Okay, so will Missourians actually get some protection from increasing property taxes, or will it just be politicians talking about it?
Oh boy, are we still having this discussion?
Yeah, so here's what's going on. Speaker John Patterson has appointed a special committee to hold hearings and report ideas back to the legislature before next session regarding property taxes. Those hearings begin next week in Jefferson City. There is one scheduled in the St. Louis area next month. That's going to happen in Clayton on August 20th. So they're doing the fact-finding hearings missions. So let me tell you what's going to happen. This is going to happen at the center in Clayton, right there on, I think that's Gay Avenue over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll promote it so that people know they can go to speak out to the legislators regarding why we've got to have some protection from these increasing property taxes. But I almost guarantee you what also is going to happen is people from the libraries, people from the public schools and all, they're also going to want to do a big show and force to try to convince them that the public that we actually love property taxes.
Oh,
and we
of course,
think we should have more of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
They're going to say, hey, but don't you like the nice things we can buy?
Yeah. So I'd understand by August 20th, there's going to be, I really hope there's a big turnout for this.
Mm-hmm.
So you look guilty, Jerome. You look guilty. What is
did I
going
do?
on?
What are you cooking up? What are you cooking up over
He's looking at the
there?
computer screen, and he's got that look on his face.
Yeah.
Just like Biden's physician, I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
He's cooking up something over there.
Oh my goodness. All right. A group of state lawmakers in Florida, you probably saw this story, denied access to the newly built detention center for illegal aliens in the Florida Everglades.
Are they still trying to do this whole dog and pony show of like, I'm the legislature. I can't.
Yes.
They're doing that whole.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And so basically it was like, we're lawmakers. We're here for oversight. And the federal officials and the state officials were like, no.
That's not how that works.
So now they're filing legal action against Governor Ron DeSantis, accusing him of overstepping his power. I don't know what basis they have for that, but that's what they're arguing.
Literally none.
Governor DeSantis was on Fox's Jesse Waters primetime last night, where he says the facility actually helps achieve what taxpayers voted for.
Alligator Alcatraz is going to enhance the ability of the federal government to do more deportations of illegal aliens. And that's what people want to see. That's what a lot of us voted for. And that's what the rule of law calls for.
Okay, so this weekend, they are actually going to let those lawmakers look around at Alligator Alcatraz.
Okay, so they scheduled a visit as opposed to this surprise visit, whatever.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah,
kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Right. All right, Velda City, which is in North County, they're going to have 24-hour police patrols again soon.
Okay.
They have not had that.
Why?
For a while. Okay, so here's what's going on. So for a little over a year now, they've been contracting with Pagedale Police, and Pagedale Police basically says we can give you 12 hours a day. So not 24 hours a day.
Oh boy.
Of patrolling. So guess what happened? crime went straight up.
Well, yeah, and particularly in those 12 hours,
Right.
in that 12-hour window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this week, city officials agreed to join the North County Police Cooperative, and I believe this is going to be the 10th city, 10th municipality that's now joining the co-op there. Velda City's police department disbanded in March of 2024. So this is going to be the third police agency in charge of protecting Velda City within a year or within a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, the third one. So hopefully this one sticks. I know that the North County co-op officers have been sort of preliminarily kind of, knowing this was coming, going around and introducing themselves. And so Velda City now going to be part of that co-op, which that co-op, good idea. I mean, it just really is. And it's proven to be very effective, especially for these really small little towns that we can't afford it.
So many of these little municipalities. Yeah.
There was a scandal that was involved with a police chief and a city official who suddenly left and where's the money? And so it's been a real mess up there. And the people of Velda City have just been screwed when it comes to this. So, all right, I want to get into this a little bit more here in a bit. Voters said yes, but legislators and the governor said no. Now, don't get me wrong. Voters made a mistake, but voters said yes. On Thursday, Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill that repeals the new state mandate that requires almost all employers provide paid sick time. This is the thing is for every 30 hours you work, you had to bank 1 hour of paid sick time. Voters passed that through the ballot measure last November, and it really wasn't close. Supporters of the measure now are considering putting it back on the ballot, but this time as a state constitutional amendment instead of a referendum, because referendums, as you just saw, can be repealed by the lawmakers and the governor, which is what they did.
Right.
Of course, you had, a number of groups like National Federation of Independent Businesses, the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, Associated Industries in Missouri, the really big players when it comes to representing employers in the state said this is terrible policy. And they're right, but that's what voters said. So I've got real mixed feelings on it. I think voters really made a mistake. And I think that we need initiative petition reform to not write a bunch of laws through the referendum process, but they did it right by doing it as a referendum and not a state constitutional amendment.
Right.
And so the bottom line is sometimes sometimes the correct side just doesn't win. And I think that's what happened here. And so if they come back and say, all right, state constitutional amendment, we don't have initiative petition reform yet. There's no reason to think that it wouldn't pass again by about the same margin.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting. When you look at sort of the political machine and how it works in this case to protect us from ourselves, our stupid decisions. So it's very interesting.
It is. All right. Trump administration is moving to ban China from buying farmland in the United States. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins unveiling the National Farm Security Action Plan this week. That is a 7-point plan cracking down on foreign land ownership, specifically preventing China from undercutting America, according to the administration. Secretary Rollins was on Hannity on Fox saying Chinese ownership of U.S. farmland is a national security threat.
It isn't just a strong defense. It isn't just a strong economy. It isn't just a strong border. We have to protect our farms and our agriculture. If we can't feed ourselves, we are no longer the world superpower.
All right. As a parallel action, Senator Josh Hawley introducing the Protecting Our Farms and Homes from China Act, and that would ban Chinese corporate ownership of American land.
Yeah, I always found it weird that so many foreign governments could own so much of American land to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we like when foreign companies come and they build factories here,
exactly,
and they get jobs. So I mean, you got to leave room for some foreign ownership of stuff, but certainly not farmland. I like farmland should be verboten. It's all American farmland or nothing.
I own 1 foot by 1 foot of Scotland.
Yeah, but technically you have a claim.
That I do, but that is I am technically a lord.
Yes,
because
really?
I own property in Scotland.
Right.
It was a gift that was given to me of my Scottish descent.
Yeah,
so
yes.
Now, if I ever tried to find that 1 foot by 1 foot, I don't even know if I could. But technically, just saying, I'm foreign ownership of another.
I kind of like that though.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Josh
recolonize Europe.
That's right. Speaking of Josh Hawley, Senator Hawley says he is not buying the story that there's no Epstein client list. This is interesting to me. According to Missouri Net, Hawley calls the situation, I'm quoting here, a bunch of deep state talk And he believes an independent investigation may be needed to get to the truth of who Epstein provided trafficking victims to. As of now, there are no announced plans for an investigation of that sort, and the Trump administration still claims the Department of Justice has no information about Epstein clients. And I'll just tell you, my gut reaction is that there would be no such thing as an independent investigation into Epstein. I have a feeling this would get memory hold, dark hold, black hold, like nobody's business. And I've just got a sinking feeling that we're not going to get the truth.
Yeah. It seems to be it's working its way towards being pushed under the rug. But I think we should resist that as hard as we can.
Absolutely.
And I've had trouble with Holly lately, but I'm appreciative of this.
Yeah. Cardinals end up winning the series over the Nationals. They won 8-1 last night. The Redbirds keep the homestand going tonight. They start a series with the Braves. That is 7:15. This is one of those games that's on over the air. So Channel 32, which is Matrix, is going to be carrying this game.
Destination, making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. Mike Ferguson, Gabe Phifer. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Jamie Allman here with the refi and debt consolidation magician, Jordan Rosenblum. Google the bagel loan. Jordan, tell me about it.
Well, Jamie, with inflation high, credit card debts all-time highs, let's look at a cash-out refinance on your home. With our bagel loan, we're going to have no title fees. We're going to have no lender fees, no appraisal fees. This will help your overall cash flow mightily. It's the time to do it. Jump on now while you can. We can always refinance when rates drop. Bagel loan all day.
314-442-9570 or Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I love learning about national and international issues here on News Talk STL. But do you know what's going on in your neck of the woods, your city, your county, and its politics? If you live in Jefferson County and want to know more about what's happening locally, join Speaker Tim Jones and me, Councilman Billy Crow, as we dive into all things Jefferson County on Sundays at high noon on Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
On News Talk STL.
Attention off-road enthusiasts. Iron Bear Customs has the strongest bumpers on the planet. Plus, brush guards, lift kits, and custom cages for all vehicles. Visit ironbearcustoms.com and mention News Talk STL for 10% off. Iron Bear Customs, built tough for the toughest terrain.
Discover Patriot Powder Coating, your family-owned specialist in Pacific. From small jobs to big projects, we got you covered. Visit our showroom or call 636-551-0377. Mention News Talk STL for 10% off.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
This is your celebration.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Celebrate.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here, waiting for you for the 3 Martini Lunch, the Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Now back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I mean, I know that I'm the metalhead and everything. This is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Oh, it's such a good feel-good
I
song.
love Kool in the Gang.
Isn't this kind of everybody's like all time? Like if this song plays at a party on New Year's Eve,
yeah.
Is anybody complaining?
No. And if you are, there's something wrong with you. Reevaluate your life.
I think so.
And
I think that's how it is.
I mean, also back in the, I guess this is what, early 80s, 81, 82, something like that?
I think it was released initially 80, but it got big in 82.
Okay, yeah. So at the end of every ball game, if the home team won, this is what
This
they
was
played.
playing, yes.
I mean,
it's quite literally labeled in the playout as 82 Cards World Series.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
so you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So whoever sent that in for Flashback Friday, good on you.
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely.
Great choice.
Good job.
Okay, this is interesting. 2 key Republicans. I want to follow up on what we were just talking about here. 2 key Republicans from Missouri are speaking up about the DOJ's sudden announcement that they know nothing about Jeffrey Epstein's clients.
And while the response to the government regarding Epstein's clients is nothing to celebrate, the word is out. Steve Forbes is coming to St. Louis on September 18th, and we want you to join us at Lindenwood
University.
There you go. Scheidegger Center. Tickets are free, but you need to reserve yours to be there. All the information and the link are at newstalkstl.com.
Okay, so Missouri Net does the story here. They interviewed Senator Josh Hawley. And what's interesting is because Josh Hawley is among the most vocal supporters of Donald Trump.
Yes.
I mean, Josh Hawley has become very populist. He's on board with everything Trump, but he made it very clear he's not buying the DOJ's story, or at the very least, he's skeptical.
Right.
It. So he is quoted as saying, and I'm reading the Missouri Net article, so go check out the Missouri Net article. And this is Josh Hawley talking. I mean, listen, he ran the biggest human trafficking ring maybe in American history. Everybody knows it. I mean, there's video footage of it, Hawley told Missouri Net, going on to quote him. He was prosecuted. His associates were prosecuted for it. And we're to believe that this guy who got filthy rich off of trafficking, sex trafficking, young women all over the globe, he got rich off that, but he didn't know who his clients were. I find that quite difficult to believe. Now, obviously, Epstein got rich with his,
financial
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this was his side hustle, if you will.
Yes.
To some degree, and was, I'm sure, used for other business deals as well. And so, so Josh Hawley says that an independent investigation may be what's needed to get to the truth. And so, like you said, I appreciate him saying this.
Yes, absolutely. He's reflecting an opinion that a lot of us hold.
I have zero confidence that on this particular thing, that any investigation would be allowed to be independent for some reason. There's something about this that I don't think the deep state, the administrative state, would ever allow to be independent.
And that's the one thing that kind of I won't say it made me cringe, but I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to go anywhere either.
Right.
Because the only thing that we could truly rely on is if the FBI just straight up came clean. I mean, that's like if they came clean and they said, here's what we have from the testimony, here's what we've distilled from this, and here are the transcripts of this witness testimony, and here's how it correlates to the flight logs of the plane. If they did all that, yeah, we could trust that. Short of that, I don't trust almost like any. Who's the independent agency that you would bring in to do this?
I mean, which special counsel are you going to appoint?
Right.
To do this?
And who isn't in somebody's pocket?
Right. And I mean, so Eric Burleson also, congressman. He's been on the show a number of times, and I got to tell you, I've been really impressed with Eric. Now, I've known Eric since he was in the state legislature, so I've known Eric a long time. And now that he's in Congress, he has not changed. I mean, he is who and what he says he is, and what he believes. Did you see his social media?
He's kind of been flooding the zone on other things. I've been looking for his Epstein stuff. Like he did have like a tirade, on this stuff.
Well, I mean, for instance, among some of the things that he put out there, let's see here. He quoted, and let me quote one of his posts on Twitter. He also put a bunch on Facebook. This is Eric Burleson speaking. You're telling me that the FBI can't find any communications or connections to others involved? There is something rotten here, according to Congressman Eric Burleson. First of all, yes, thank you guys for saying stop insulting our intelligence.
Yes.
I mean, there's as awful as everything is with the Epstein thing, stop insulting our intelligence. But I got to tell you something. This takes guts by both of these guys and other Republicans to stand up and go, we're not buying this.
Yeah, and
we're hearing from it. We don't buy this.
In another tweet from the 9th, he said they shut the case. They edited the video. They said the list doesn't exist. Epstein's victims have waited years for justice. Now the DOJ tells them to move on. Unacceptable.
Yeah, that's a congressman speaking, a Republican congressman.
Yes,
speaking here. So. Here's the thing: is this is obviously not going to go away. The Trump administration wants this to go away, just as I'm sure the Biden administration before him wanted this to go away. So it's not going to go away in the public discussion, but I worry that it has gone away through the quote unquote justice system. That's what I worry about. So the question then becomes if that information, that collection of information of who was receiving we could say buying or receiving as part of other business deals or whatever the case is, human beings around the world, around the country, if nobody's going to be put in the sunlight for that, if nobody's going to be exposed for that, nobody's going to be prosecuted for that, then is justice possible?
Mhm.
And the other part is you've got the justice for the victims, as Senator Hawley said, and Congressman Burleson said. But then you've also got, we have a right to know because of how big this is, and because every indication is that the people involved, you had to be at some upper echelon, powerful level, be it politics or business or entertainment or something that where people are just more important than all of us peons over here.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the individual, all of us citizens are supposed to be, the people from whom all of these guys draw their power, right? And accountability to us should be a thing, right? And holding the people who victimize these girls is part of the duty of being a citizen in the republic. So I this is unacceptable. I don't believe this. And here's something that I didn't see until just recently. Alan Dershowitz says he saw the list.
Yeah, I saw that.
He says while he was basically trying to prove his innocence, because I guess maybe his name was on a flight log, but obviously he didn't go to the island or anything like that. He says documents are being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. This is from Alan Dershowitz.
I saw that.
Yeah, to Sean Spicer, he was talking. And Eric Burleson kind of retweeted this, and he says, look, Alan Dershowitz says the FC list of names exists. I believe him. Do you? I kind of do.
I do.
I mean, yeah, no, it's not justice to cover up this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I saw one of the most recent, I can't remember off the top of my head who proposed it, but the most recent sort of shifting in this narrative now has become, well, there were people that were associated with Epstein and co, but did not have anything to do with the crimes, and we don't want them to have to face the embarrassment, the shame, the repercussions of somebody thinking that they may have been involved in this or not. But the flight logs are out there, the black book, the contact list of people are out there, and once again, they're in both Maxwell's and Epstein's criminal charges of the official filing. The government says we know of these people who we're going to refer to in this document as Jane Doe type names, but these are people that are involved, and we have conspirators. We know the conspirator. You know who did it. Stop giving us excuses.
Let me agree with part of it. If you're innocent, I don't want you facing the backlash for something you didn't do.
Same.
So let's talk about the people who did it.
Right. Yes.
I don't care about the innocent ones. Protect them. If they're innocent, I'm not worried about the innocent. That's which I'm like, I agree. And they're gaslighting.
Yes, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, and I mean, and the other thing too is there have been multiple attempts by the victims themselves to say, can we have this unsealed and released? And the courts will say, no, because there are names out there, and we don't want to re-victimize you guys. It's like we're the ones asking. So
it's so stupid.
So it's just hard, because what it comes down to is we have people within various levels of different high level things within the United States, and we don't have any idea of exactly which industries they're concentrated in, but they're compromised to some degree. So what happens if a foreign nation gets a hold of the list and they say, well, by the way, you're going to dispel this propaganda for us. You're going to say the CCP is awesome because now we have the list. Now we have your files. Or the opposite could be true, is the same people that were victimizing these people are free. So, the government will cover up. Let's go victimize some more.
Oh, yeah.
And both of those possibilities are horrible.
If you're important enough.
If you're connected enough.
I mean, and I think that's what's resonating with so many of us, is to some degree, when this story first kind of broke, and there were the rumblings of it, it was kind of like a soap opera. It was kind of the drama because, it was like, ooh, Bill Clinton was on there, I mean, and you come up with all these names and that sort of thing. And then it becomes, wait a minute. You mean that if I'm rich or powerful enough, I get to commit some of the most heinous crimes? I get to buy and sell human beings. We used to have a word for that.
Yeah, seriously.
And if we're powerful enough, you're above anything that has that basic humanity and accountability. That's what's resonating with so many people, is because, first of all, of the actual horrible crime and the victims what they went through, and I do believe that there's a very sincere very sincere empathy for that and demand for justice for them. But at the same time, it's, wait a minute, if you can get away with that just because of how rich or powerful you are, what else can you get away with?
Mm-hmm.
And why is my government actively participating in a cover-up in a very bipartisan way?
Yeah, it's crazy to see, because we thought, and maybe shame on us for thinking this, that once our guys got in, they were going to do the right thing. We only
thought that because they promised.
Yeah, we thought, oh well, it's those dang Democrats, because they've been weaponizing the justice system. They've been we've seen some of the things that they're into. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were Democrats on there, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if there were some Republicans.
Oh, I almost guarantee you there are.
But I thought that getting certain people in power would give us the ability to hold those people accountable. And what they're telling us now is, nah,
Gabe, nothing to see.
Nothing to see.
Move on.
Throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Our country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by idiots.
On News Talk STL.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
It's brand new year. Tim Jones will tell you about the brand new things happening at The Hideout, famous for the Sunset Patio, 50 big screen TVs, live music and events, a fantastic game room, and of course, the food. The Hideout has a brand new menu featuring their world famous wings, the best handcrafted burgers, new items like the signature Sunset Dip and Dave's Chili, and a second location at Sugar Creek Golf Course in beautiful High Ridge. Experience The Hideout while enjoying a round of golf. Come in for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout, hideoutsportsbar.com, hideoutsportsbar.com. We'll definitely see you there.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet. I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
After the one big beautiful bill, what's next for Congress to handle and tackle? Congressman Bob Onder at 420 will tell us.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Now in the street there is violence, and lots of work to be done. No place to hang out or washing.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I want to say this is Eddie Grant.
Yes.
Yes. This is, I don't know if I can, Gabe, I'm not sure I can adequately explain to Jerome how big and how massive of a hit this was back in the day.
This song was so huge.
It was everywhere.
It was kind of almost uncomfortable how huge this song was. It was so much synthy sounds too.
Yeah.
But electric avenue. I mean, I don't know. It struck American society at the time like a lightning bolt.
Oh, it's so catchy.
It is.
It really is. All right, more lawfare and more raids. So who's ready for the weekend?
Now, I'm ready for the weekend, but are you ready to rock? Lita Ford, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, and Firehouse are coming to the Family Arena in St. Charles on October 3rd. We're giving away a pair of tickets to the show in about 1 hour.
That's right.
So be ready to call.
When Jerome tells you,
yes,
be ready to go, because I'm dragging Jerome to this show. He's going. I'm going.
Yeah, we're gonna do the big hair. We're gonna have the leather jacket, the eyeliner.
Right. You know it exactly. All right. Okay, so another judge. We just talked to Mike O'Neill from Landmark Legal Foundation the other day about the judges issuing an order, temporary restraining order, against the defunding of Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Okay, and we're thinking, well, wait a minute, how is this even possible?
Right. Can you force the government to spend money that has not been allocated?
Right. When the Constitution specifically says that spending comes from Congress, particularly the House of Representatives. Well, now we have another ruling here.
Oh, more.
Yeah, another one here. And by the way, I'm fighting off a sneeze, so I'm going to apologize for a second here.
Take your time. But but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yeah. A judge now has issued a ruling blocking the application of the president's executive order on birthright citizenship.
Okay, so right, so the case that spurred the Supreme Court case that says, that says, hey, you lower courts, you have no jurisdiction,
right.
You have no power here,
right?
Exactly. that whole thing. But they said we're going to do it. We're going to exercise power we don't have anyway.
Now, here's the thing: is that we know that the president wanted when he issued that executive order. It's pretty clear a president doesn't just get to say, oh, by the way, now that I'm in office, here's what the Constitution means.
Sure.
So we knew that the point was to put the 14th Amendment up in front of the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Maybe this is part of the process, but the Supreme Court just ruled on this.
Yeah. Yeah. On the inability of the.
Right. So we're joined now by Paul Curtman, former Missouri state representative, wrote a book on the Constitution himself at one point here, our roving Florida reporter officially now that he's fled the Show Me State. So Paul, great to chat with you. Okay. So is this more lawfare, or despite the Supreme Court ruling? I mean, didn't they just say district court judges can't do this? And now we're still seeing time and time again, district court judges, doing this.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I don't know if this is as much lawfare as this is just out of spite. We're just going to do this anyway. We've always thought we could do this, and we're just going to keep doing it. I think it's a dangerous move for the courts to do this because it eventually, inside the judiciary branch, you would expect that what they're doing would just come to a stop. Because at some point, as these motions make their way up the chain, someone's going to be like, this is a huge waste of time. We can't do this anyway. And they're just not going to do it. It's not the same for the president. The famous case is a couple hundred years ago when Andrew Jackson was moving some American Indians around, and the Supreme Court made a ruling and said, you can't just do this. And he did it anyway. And when he was asked by a reporter, he said, well, the Supreme Court made the ruling, now let them enforce it. Well, that's just how checks and balances work. Not everybody has the ability to enforce anything. So if the courts want to keep doing this anyway, they're just creating busy work for themselves because it can literally go nowhere that they want it to go.
Let me follow up on that real quick because the Andrew Jackson story there is I think fascinating. A lot of people love that. In a civil society, in a republic, one of the things we pride ourselves on is that we do have this checks and balances, and we can make decisions without the use of force. And that's what the courts ideally were for, obviously dating back to what we've modeled this on in history. So is there a danger to that Jacksonian mindset to these political conflicts?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There is. It's a good story, right? And I think like if you're on the side of Trump in all of this, it's a story that you really love because, of course, everybody for the last 10 years has just hated the man. And they tried to stop him every which way they could, including like we're seeing now in the courts, But there is a danger. There's a flip side to that too, because what you don't want is you don't want an executive who says, I can do whatever I want, because, you know, the courts can't enforce anything. They can only make rulings. And so you don't want a president who says the judiciary branch doesn't apply to me. You want people who guard their powers very jealously. That's something that the founding fathers brought out over and over and over again. But you also want checks and balances. You also want these co-sovereign, they're not co-equal. You want these co-sovereign branches of government to at least have some respect for the other co-sovereign branches of government, because the system doesn't work unless there's a respecting of these different branches as well. So you want a president who actually listens to the court and says, well, this is what the court said, so this is what we're going to do. And if you think that you're wrong, this is what the courts are. Then you go back and you make your case, and you can use the courts. We've seen the Democrats doing this recently. You can use the courts to strategize as well.
Morning, Paul. Gabe here. So we've got lawmakers doing all kinds of things to curtail the Trump administration from enforcing immigration law, among other things, right? So we have them virtue signaling at Alcatraz, trying to get in. It's like, hey, don't you know who I am? We have them proposing laws to unmask those out there, you know, doing the detentions because they obviously, at least in our opinion, we think they want violence. We think they want the blood of ICE officers to be spilled in the streets. What do you make of this opposition? Is it going anywhere? How tolerant should our law enforcement be of you know, these type of protests and violent protests included in there?
We shouldn't be tolerant of violent protests ever. Very rarely, I think at least in the last couple hundred years, do we see that violence is actually justified when it comes, you know, from the base or from a foundation of protest. Now, if they really believe it, then they should draft a Declaration of Independence like document to actually and sign their names to it, unmask themselves. I mean, our own founding fathers who were protesters and who went violent, you know, in the fight for independence. These were people that were actually writing out a document. They were writing out their list of grievances, and they put their names on it. And they said, most famously, we must all hang together, or we will assuredly all hang separately. Meaning, if we don't stick together on this until we see this through, then they're going to come for us. But they were willing to do it. They were willing to sacrifice themselves. You don't see that on the left. You don't see people willing to sacrifice themselves for everybody else, right? I mean, even when it comes to the tax debate, they want the government to come for everybody else's money. They want the government to come for all the other millionaires and billionaires' money before they come for theirs. Hollywood actors are famous for this. These Hollywood actors on the left, they want everybody to pay their fair share, but at any time, these guys could give up their Lamborghinis and pay more, and they don't. So I don't think we should tolerate this type of violence, because this type of violence that we see coming from the left just wreaks havoc on our whole civil society, and it rewards nothing, and it just devolves our country, and it's going to turn us into a third world despotic country if we just let this type of violence just continue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those people, activists on the left that you just mentioned, like for instance at Alcatraz, we were just talking about the Democratic Florida lawmakers demanding that they be able to inspect it. Governor DeSantis now says, all right, this weekend you can come and look around. I'm pretty sure that they're going to throw a fit if they and blame the Trump administration and Ron DeSantis for their mosquito bites in the middle of the Everglades.
Hey, it might be a trap. I mean, if you're ever begging to be let into prison, and someone's like, yeah, sure, come on out, you know. But maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part. But yeah, they're going to find a way to blame the right DeSantis for everything, and just leave it to mosquito bites. I bet you're right, Mike. We'll probably see them saying these prisoners are suffering so much abuse. There's mosquitoes down here.
Yeah, well, I mean, also when they get there, I wouldn't be surprised if Governor DeSantis says, "Hey, you know what? Just a little hot. Go ahead and jump in, take a swim."
I'm sure there's nothing in there that'll bother you.
It's fine. It's fine. Cool off. Just dip your toe in. It's fine. Oh my God.
Oh no.
You got 10 of them. You can, you know, so what if you end up with 8? Jeez. All right. I'm in a mood. What can I say? All right. Paul, we've got just another minute or so left here. Paul Curtman, former Missouri state representative as well. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to be looking at in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, going to tap into your financial thoughts here on this, is that a lot of these tariffs, the president is now saying, okay, I've declared them, but I had those 60 to 90 day carve outs depending on the country. Now I'm adding them, 50% on Brazil, 25% more on Canada, on the Asian countries. So at some point, stuff's more expensive to bring into the U.S. At some point, are we going to start seeing these prices go up in the U.S.? I saw somebody saying, look, the government's collected hundreds of millions of dollars already. It's a success. And I'm thinking, yeah, who's paying it? So what, if anything, should we be looking for in the coming weeks or months now that it looks like he's going to finally follow through with some of these tariffs?
Well, I think there's two things to be cognizant of. One of them is I think it might be that the markets have just kind of shrugged this off because we've already gone through this last April, and the markets might be anticipating that we just get through it again and everything's going to be fine. We had some excellent economic numbers that came out last week, and so the markets are just tearing forward to the surprise and the joy of lots of investors out there. But as these tariffs come back into play, it's going to be a little bit more of a deeper row to hoe this time, because if you look at the imports, you'll notice that China is importing far less into America, but countries like Vietnam are importing far more. And the reason is because China will find a way to go through some countries that have good trade relations with the U.S., and they will use them as the middleman in order to avoid some of these tariffs. So that means that the federal government's going to have to find a way to make sure that they can make sure that nobody gets a free ride through a country that has a good economic trade relationship with the U.S. So I think these discussions are going to have to get a little bit deeper, get a little bit longer, and we're probably going to see some more headlines come out. I do think that people have learned from last April that Trump's just not messing around, although they've also learned he's using this as a negotiating trip. And I think that people are going to feel a little bit more comfortable about coming to the table. How it turns out, I have no idea. But I think that the markets, they may not reel as hard as they did last April now that this is the second time through and not the first time.
All right, Paul. Hey, have a great weekend. Appreciate the insight as always, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, I'm going to bring you up today what's happening around the area, including Governor Kehoe completes the process of repealing something the voters already approved. And at 7:05, this is going to be interesting. A young meteorologist gets taken to task by an NPR reporter because the meteorologist was saying meteorological things.
No place to hang out or washing, and then I can't blame all on the sun.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A cross between Socrates and Dirty Harry.
On News Talk STL.
Oh, we gonna rock down to
This app is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
It is awesome.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Beat the summer heat with Johnson Heating and Cooling, your trusted local family business. We specialize in residential air conditioning service, furnace and AC replacement, new construction, finished basements, room additions, and energy-efficient geothermal systems. At Johnson Heating and Cooling, our motto is simple. We treat our customers like we want to be treated, with complete transparency and honesty. Call 636-332-4141. That's 636-332-4141.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
I am extremely excited about this episode because we're going to be talking with my pastor, somebody who I really look up to and who's really helped me in a lot of ways. You know, some of you might be wondering, well, what does your pastor have to do with, looking at holistic health? And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to healing, all healing comes from one place, and that's from our Father above. And so understanding and connecting with that is truly important.
Simply Health, Saturdays at noon on News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Vocals of the now late Christine McVie, Fleetwood Mac there.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the interesting thing is, I would argue the Fleetwood Mac was more of a 70s giant band. And then in the 80s, when like this came out, my generation then discovered all of the great 70s Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, it's
and it sort of gave
works.
like this.
Yeah.
It gave them like a second win. They were huge with the generation before me, Gen X, and then we hear them, and obviously Stevie Nicks, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, what else did they do? Another band that happened to Gabe, Heart.
Oh yeah.
Because Heart was huge in the mid '80s.
They were gigantic.
And then we're like, oh, they have other songs. What's this? Barracuda? Oh, interesting. Yeah. And so it was. Then
it blew up.
Yeah, the next level. Okay, a little bit later on here today, dude, where's my illegal worker? The jokes just almost write themselves. Also, here in just a second, the governor completes the repeal of a voter-approved measure in Missouri. This is probably not going to be the end of the debate, though. I get the basic details here in a second. I want to go into more depth on this a little bit later. And Cardinals, you know what? They're trying to hang in there. They're doing the best they can, I guess. 6:51 right now. Let's bring you up to date. Let's dump some news on you.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
All right, I want to go into this in more depth here in a little bit, maybe 7:20ish or something like that. Will Missourians actually get some protection from increasing property taxes, or will it just be politicians talking about it?
Yeah, give us the thing that that you said you were going to give us.
Yeah, this is interesting because for basically my entire life, property taxes are one of the things you were allowed to grumble about, but weren't actually allowed to try to do something about, because schools, libraries, fire departments.
Don't you want these things?
Yeah, exactly. And all of the time, people are now saying, wait a minute, you all are just milking us dry.
Right.
Okay. And at some point, between inflation and taxation and the cost of living and everything that's going on, the devaluation of our dollar and everything that's happening, at some point we are going to make a choice. Is me and is my family more important to me than your government entity?
Right. Yeah. And I think, honestly, we've already done that calculation. I think we've already decided. And this is why we're in the season of government cutbacks.
Yeah.
But I think Americans are right now uniquely positioned to be okay with losing some of the nice stuff we've had in the past.
And who's throwing a fit? The government workers. That's really what's happening. And so far, the cutbacks have not been real cutbacks.
No, these are very tepid reductions in growth at best.
And so let's see if Congress is serious about it with rescission bills. Missouri's budget is still bigger than it's ever been before.
Yeah,
Missouri,
still
Illinois,
wild.
Illinois is hopeless when it comes to the state budget over there. So we got a lot of talk about it, but are we actually going to see it? This is a concrete way to do it. Speaker John Patterson has appointed a special committee to hold hearings and report ideas to the legislature before next session. Those hearings begin next week in Jefferson City. There is one scheduled in Clayton. That's going to happen August 20th. We will keep you up to date well before that, so you can participate if you want. All right. A group of state lawmakers in Florida denied access to the newly built detention center for illegal aliens in the Florida Everglades. Now they are filing legal action against Governor Ron DeSantis, accusing him of overstepping his power. I got a feeling Governor Ron DeSantis not scared about that, probably not losing sleep. But he was on Fox's Jesse Waters Primetime, and he says the facility is, that's what people voted for.
Alligator Alcatraz is going to enhance the ability of the federal government to do more deportations of illegal aliens. And that's what people want to see. That's what a lot of us voted for. And that's what the rule of law calls for.
So those lawmakers are going to be allowed to go see Alligator Alcatraz and look around this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's where we hold, people on their way out. This is our way station for those outbound for their home country. I don't see why they're so upset.
Yeah. By the way, while you're looking around, this is Bob. Bob's killed 3 people in our country. I mean, that's okay. Voters said yes, but legislators and the governor said no. On Thursday, Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill that repeals the new state mandate that requires almost all employers to provide paid sick time. Voters passed that through a ballot measure last November. Supporters of the measure are considering putting it back on the ballot, but this time as a state constitutional amendment instead of a referendum. So I want to go into more depth on this just a little bit later on. The voters got it wrong. I mean, it was just a bad decision.
It's terrible.
It really was. However, the voters spoke. And so I've got very mixed feelings on this.
Right.
And so it also goes into the discussion over initiative petition reform, because what's happening right now is the left wingers who pushed this, and it was a very populist thing. I mean, it wasn't really a close vote. And they're now saying, well, if we spend all this money to do a referendum to get 50 whatever percent of the vote, it was almost 60% if I remember it, then we'll go ahead and do it again as a constitutional amendment and likely get the same amount of the vote. And then you can't touch it. And by the way, we'll probably add whatever we want. So it could end up being worse. So we'll see how this goes. So the initiative petition reform question is going to come back up as well. All right. Let's see here. Senator Josh Hawley says he's not buying the story that there's no Epstein client list, or at least he's very skeptical of it. According to Missouri Net, Hawley calls the situation, I'm quoting him here, a bunch of deep state talk, and he believes an independent investigation may be needed to get the truth of who Epstein provided trafficking victims to. And I think that on the Rumble chat box, Jerome, you've already put that story out on the link, so you can find that on the Rumble chat box. So as of right now, there are no announced plans for an investigation of that sort. And the Trump administration still claims the Department of Justice has no information about Epstein clients. And I don't think anybody actually believes that.
Yeah, no. Guys, there's a list. There are people who said that they've seen the list.
Yeah.
I believe those people a lot more readily than I believe federal government saying, nah, nothing to see here, case closed.
And I wonder, how far this is going to go, because there are reports out of Washington, D.C. that the backlash from Republicans and even the backlash from within the MAGA movement have really rattled the establishment in D.C. And by the establishment, I mean the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they expected this. I think they become so accustomed to, we say it, people go out and defend it, nobody's going to abandon this. And a whole lot of people who say, we support your policies, but no. This is not here.
Right.
Yeah, the Babylon Bee summarized it fantastically. There is no Epstein client list, says Epstein clients.
Yeah. Oh, good God. All right. The Cardinals win the series Thursday night's 8-1 win over the Nationals secured that. Wilson Contreras had a home run. Miles Michaelis pitched 5 2/3 innings without giving up any runs. He gets his 5th win of the season with this one. The Redbirds keep the homestand going tonight when they host the Braves. 7:15 first pitch. This one's actually over the air on TV on Channel 32.
Dr. Randy Tobler here, and I know that when you're looking for a dentist, you have to make sure you choose a dental practice that's compatible with you and the needs of your family. Well, I'd like to tell you about my dentist, Dr. Dan Cusimano, and his partner, Megan Dwyer, and their team at Advanced Dentistry at St. Charles. The great team at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles can accommodate all of your cosmetic and restorative needs because their passion is general dentistry. Implants, crowns, bridges, even dentures, that what you need the most is what they'll provide in a personalized, focused way. And they can provide therapeutic and cosmetic options like Botox and dermal fillers. Get to know them and all they have to offer by calling 636-978-0226 or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com. That's Dr. Daniel Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
That's Advanced Dentistry Now, 636-978-0226. Or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Lots of Friday pink slips are being handed out today. The State Department is firing over 1,300 career diplomats and civil servants. Word of the layoffs come a day after staffers were told that notices would be sent in coming days. Canada has been put on notice. Donald Trump plans to hike tariffs on Canadian goods to 35% starting August 1st. There's also the possibility of a new U.S. trade war with Brazil.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva says he will impose retaliatory tariffs on the United States if President Donald Trump follows through on a pledge to boost import taxes by 50%. Trump has vowed to respond forcefully if countries seek to punish the U.S. I'm Karen Shamas.
The CDC finds that nearly a third of young Americans have prediabetes.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has offered a new estimate of how many adolescents in the U.S. have prediabetes. The data from 2023 shows nearly 1 in 3 aged 12 to 17 had it. That's far higher than a previous estimate that the condition affects about 1 in 5. Prediabetes puts a person at risk for developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and other metabolic problems. But scientists who study and treat diabetes note the CDC released only a 600-word online summary of the findings. No raw data and no peer-reviewed paper. And that's raising questions about its accuracy. I'm Ben Thomas.
President Trump visits Texas later today to assess catastrophic flooding that has killed at least 120 people. He'll take an aerial tour, meet with officials, and talk with victims' families. Meanwhile, search crews continue looking for scores of people still missing. Dow futures down 252. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair costs. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-894-9190. That's 800-894-9190. What do you have to lose? Call 800-894-9190. That's 800-894-9190. Again, 800-894-9190.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Think you know your facts?
Put your knowledge to the test at the St. Louis Young Republicans Trivia Night. Join us Friday, July 25th at the St. Louis County GOP headquarters in Fenton for an evening of fun facts and fantastic company. Meet fellow conservatives while competing for great prizes. Doors at 5:45, trivia at 6:30. Reserve your table and get tickets now at stlyrs.com. BethSTLYRS.com. Presented by NewsTalkSTL.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, and this week on Serenity Wealth Now Radio, we've got very special guest. News Talk STL's very own Jeff Allen joins us in the studio. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes News Talk STL so successful in serving the St. Louis community and what's going on in the local radio scene. So tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., and always on SerenityWealthNow.com and social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Gabe Phifer.
It's the sugar honey iced tea, baby.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of coffee the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, for too many people, the narrative matters more than the truth. And unfortunately, you can just insert that statement into issue after issue after story in this country. But also, unfortunately, it looks like the narrative may be mattering to some people more than actual lives for some others.
Now, within the next half hour, we're giving away a pair of tickets to be at the concert Mike is nerding out about.
Oh, totally.
Lita Ford and Dee Snider at the Family Arena are on October 3rd. Jerome will tell you when to call, and you could score those tickets.
All right, 7:06 right now, joined now by Chris Martz. Now, Chris is a policy analyst with the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, or CFACT, our friends at CFACT. But Chris, also, I want to mention, everybody, you're a recent graduate with a degree in meteorology, and that matters to the conversation here in just a second, because you ended up in a social media dust up with an NPR reporter that I think really reflects one of the issues that we're having here, and that is narratives matter more than facts and truth. So I want to start with kind of the foundation. First of all, thanks for being on the show, Chris. Secondly, you've got this NPR reporter in Kansas City, and he essentially was doing what? He was repeating all of the man-made climate change. This is unprecedented. This is why these Central Texas floods happened. And you essentially said, by the way, I have a degree in this. That's not completely accurate. How did the exchange go?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. So the whole story about that is interesting because I had posted about the facts behind the flooding in Texas. And the data show that if you look at the river discharge or stream flow, which is the amount, the flux of water, the volume per unit of time, so in this case, cubic feet per second, and at the Guadalupe River, different stream flow stations that they measure this stuff that's used to measure floods, they've actually decreased with time. And on the EPA's website, you can find that the frequency of river flooding in Texas has decreased since 1965. And that's all their public data for people to look at. And this NPR reporter replied and said, well, heavier rainfall events is going to increases flooding potential. And that's not necessarily true because flooding depends on, and this is what the IPC, the United Nations government report, says about floods. It says that even if you have heavier rainfall, it does not necessarily translate to more flooding because of the type of river basin, the intensity and duration of rainfall, snowmelt factors, other stuff, a whole bunch of other factors that go into that. And so he just appealed to authority by saying that, well, you wasted money on your degree. And so I asked him, I actually calculated, because he brought the heavy rainfall argument. I looked at all long-term stations in Texas, and there's 21 of them with over 100 years of data that has very few missing days per year. And this goes back to 1895 I looked at the annual maximum one-day precipitation, the highest annual one-day rainfall, average per station, and there's been a very, very slight increase since 1895, but the coefficient of determination on that has a 2.7% explained variance, which means it's not statistically significant at all. And if you look at the last 50 years, heavy precipitation has actually decreased in Texas, contrary to his claim.
Morning, Chris. Gabe here. So I'm loving the nerding out stuff. So
Gabe is a scientist as well, but in a different field.
Yeah.
But he's got the sciencey mind. So brace yourself, Chris.
I do come from a different field. I'm more of a rocket scientist than anything else, but I know how to read studies. So I'm always fascinated with the people who have this go-to reaction that all current meteorological events are related to this overarching idea of climate change, and that seems to be wrong pretty much 99% of the time. What do you make of this kind of weird confluence of climate, which is a study of a much larger body of work, and weather?
Well, climate is a long-term, as you mentioned, long-term statistical description of the Earth's climate system, including the mean and the variability of the weather. And this is, defined in the IPCC's glossary. You can look that up. And climate change is essentially a change in the statistics of weather. But neither climate or climate change are physical forces that cause things to occur. They are outcomes. So while, let's say a change in frequency in flooding could be evidence of climate change, that does not mean that climate change caused a particular flood or particular event. And we see a lot of these things called event attribution studies. A lot of them are published by this group called the World Weather Attribution, which is bankrolled by a lot of donors that donate to democratic causes and environmental organizations. There's some conflicts of interest about that. And the architects behind these event attribution studies actually admitted to Politico that these studies are designed with the intention of using evidence of climate change causing a weather event to sue oil and gas companies. So it's not science, it's pseudoscience.
Yeah. We're visiting with Chris Martz, a policy analyst with the Committee for Constructive Tomorrow, or CFACT, and we'll tell you how to get in touch with their work and check out what they do here in just a couple of minutes. So, Chris, let me talk about kind of what we're talking about, and that is what you've got is an immediate rush in the course of a tragedy. Flooding, so many people have been killed, so many people are still missing, and they run to political narratives. Somebody says, wait a minute, being you, let's talk about some of the actual facts and context on this. And they weren't, as I understand what you're saying, arguing necessarily as much about, no, here's why your facts and scientific approach are wrong. It sounds like it was more, how dare you challenge the narrative? And I know who this reporter is. I used to live in the Kansas City area. I don't think I know him personally, but I know who he is. Very, very left-wing, which is typical of NPR. But it sounds like it was more about, how dare you challenge the narrative? You are now part of this so-called scientific community, so therefore you're just supposed to buy in and promote the narrative. Can that be dangerous to actual people? I mean, there's the ideological aspect, but we have people who are making decisions based on narratives instead of facts now.
Well, science is always about questioning. It's always about, questioning the status quo. By nature, scientists are supposed to be skeptical of anything. And I don't believe anything anybody tells me, really, until I double check it or triple check it for myself to make sure that what I'm saying or what I'm posting or what I think is based in fact. And so these constant appeals to authority are dangerous, because, and in terms of public safety too, because if people are over exaggerating climate change, for example, the impacts of it, that could lead to some seriously bad policy, because it's going to lead to people to not want to do anything to maybe take better care of our environment in general, not climate necessarily, but just general pollution and stuff. And so people are going to take it seriously. And it leads to people who exaggerate climate change and whatever are far more dangerous to the general welfare of people than the people that, supposedly deny everything. And also on the front of the energy policy thing, a lot of this consensus science that we talk about promotes really disastrous energy policies that make energy unaffordable. It raises our cost of living, and it makes the state of human welfare deteriorate because because these policies force unreliable energy on people. So it's very dangerous to follow this kind of line of thinking. And when people say that I'm at odds with a bunch of scientists, I like to cite the Albert Einstein quote. Well, if I was wrong, it'll only take one scientist, not 10,000 of them.
One of the things that I find maddening about the whole climate discussion is that we're conflating a number of different questions.
Mm-hmm.
You got the question of, okay, is the climate changing? How is the climate changing? What are the mechanisms that causes climate to change? How are humans impacting that? Are the changes catastrophic for human flourish? All of these different questions are being answered, in one breath by the climate zealots out there, but nobody's actually, kind of looking at the individual components, and all of those things get lost in our public discussions of this. And that leads me to the question about the watermelons, right? You've got they're red on the inside because they're communists, but they're green on the outside. So they're trying to make themselves look like environmentalists. How is it? How are we supposed to uncover and unmask the watermelons out there trying to guide public policy towards their communist utopia by using green energy and the climate to cover themselves?
That's a good analogy. That's one that I've used on social media before, and it really makes people madder than a midget in a yo-yo contest. But my favorite way to expose these people, and I love this because I don't like hypocrites. I really don't. I try to always live the way that I preach, or do or practice what I preach, rather. And so all these climate activists who claim that they like to say, and you can attest to this,
mm-hmm.
They like to say, well, we need to reduce CO2 emissions now. We need to like net zero now. We got to do all these crazy things. And then you ask them, okay, well, how many Teslas do you own? How much have you done to reduce your carbon footprint? And they will say that, they stutter like that, and they can't come up with they never want to take any steps of their own to be proactive in reducing their own carbon footprint. They don't want to give up flying. They don't want to give up their cars. They don't want to give up their Wi-Fi connection or social media use, which actually has a large carbon footprint. And so they want you to stop doing these things, but they get exempt themselves. And also, some of them will say that the world's overpopulated. There's too many people. And then you ask them, okay, well, why don't you start with yourself? And that sounds kind of harsh, but it's the truth. I mean, if you're going to say that, then why not lead by example? And so they never do this. And so it just goes to show that they actually don't really care about what they're talking about. They just have political motivations behind what they're saying.
All right, Chris, we've tagged you on our social media already. People want to follow your work. I've also put the link to your op-ed on our Rumble chat box, at least. Gabe, maybe we should put that up on the other platforms as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get that out there, but people want to follow the work you're doing, particularly at CFACT. What's the best way to do it?
You can follow me, of course, on Twitter and Facebook at Chris Martz WX. I have a blog, chrismartzweather.com. You can follow us at CFACT at CFACT on Twitter, Facebook, and CFACT.org on the web.
All right, Chris, babe, appreciate the insight, man. That was an interesting exchange you had with Sam over there in Kansas City, and very, very telling. Much more so about the narrative and the acolytes to that than frankly people who are just looking for truth. So appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
All right. 314-912-1019. I got to go check the records, guys, on this, but I'm pretty sure Chris may have been the first person to ever say madder than a midget in a yo-yo contest.
Yeah. That's a great line, by the way.
That's I got to double check. I think
solid.
that's the first time that's been uttered on the show.
You have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all the ones depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Someone in that control room is out of control.
On NewsTalkSTL.
Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up!
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
The DNC chair says he's willing to accept the New York City candidate Mondami, even if he won't condemn Jew haters.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Did you know that we have a locally owned, independently owned family jewelry store right here in the St. Louis metro region that can create unique pieces for your family members and your loved ones? Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. That's the one we have. Tim Jones here to tell you all about Newstetter's. You can find them 24/7 at wilddiamonds.com. I have been there a multitude of times along with so many of my family and friends because Newstetter's is local, family owned, and provides honest jewelry solutions. They've been doing it for well over 50 years. You can find out everything they've got at wilddiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wilddiamonds.com.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beats?
It's Flashback Friday.
It's Friday.
All right, we know the voters are going to get another swing at the abortion issue in Missouri, but we might also get another swing at that whole paid time off mandates on businesses as well. That's after the legislature and the governor repealed part of what was passed in November.
And there are a lot of different opinions on a lot of what we talk about. So if you want your voice to be heard, you can use the amazing News Talk STL app and leave us a voicemail. You can actually call us directly from the app, believe it or not. So no need to go on Google and go and look up our phone number and all that. It's all built right in the News Talk STL app on whatever your favorite app provider is.
And that's free, of course.
Of course,
again,
it's
it's free. All right, 7:22 right now. All right, I want to get to this this repeal that the governor finalized yesterday. But first, okay, it's not climate. It's obviously it's weather. It's been really hot lately. I think technically that's called July. But this is interesting, guys. A mathematician goes on social media. It was TikTok, but I saw the story, a couple different things, claiming to have figured out the best way to cool down the inside of your car when your car has been parked out in the sun during the summer. Because, I mean, honestly, it can bake you if you get in there. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So here's what Professor Hannah Fry has people like all over the world doing right now. So basically,
it's just coincidental that her last name is Fry.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
it's just happy accident.
So what she's saying here, and make sure I got the right one here. So what she's saying is, and I'm not sure why mathematician matters other than, I guess,
there would be a lot of complicated math to the physics of this.
So she says, basically, instead of just getting in your car and turning the air conditioning up this full blast and then trying to catch up with it, she says, roll down your passenger side window, or windows, then open and close your driver's side door 4 or 5 times, like you're fanning it. So essentially, I'm guessing pushing the hot air out.
Yes.
Okay. Does that sound like that would work? She says that's the most effective way to maybe not make it cool, but get rid of that stifling heat inside your car.
It tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks because the air movement is kind of key.
Yeah.
And that door is basically a gigantic fan.
Yeah. So that's what she's saying. And so she put this up on TikTok, which got picked up, I guess, Instagram and Facebook Reels and everywhere else. And so people all over the world are doing this. And there's a debate as to whether this is the best way to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I suppose there are other ways. Look, just driving down the road for a few minutes with your windows open is going to have a similar effect. Like if you crack one and you really open another one, that'll kind of create a
What's
a
your
similar
go-to?
effect. Doing that. Just like,
Okay.
I rolled down the windows. Well, I do turn up my AC full blast as I'm, because that has to warm up all its own. It's got to blow out the hot air in that system to begin with. And then to cool off the actual engine or the compartment of the car, I just roll down the windows and go as fast as I can.
I'm looking at my weather app right now. It's supposed to be 92 today.
Yeah.
And then it's not quite as hot the next several days, but we're gonna have that. Jerome, what's your go-to when you get into your Jeep and it's like baking hot in there? What's the way to try to make it to where it's not gonna like air fry you?
Just suffer through it and pretend like it's a sauna. No, because my last few vehicles, I didn't have a working AC on.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I sometimes would try to keep the windows cracked, but in Missouri, sometimes rain can be unpredictable. So I try to do like a fanning motion with the door to kind of dissipate some of the heat. And then luckily now I've got an AC that works, just takes a moment to kick in. So I try to crank that up for a few minutes and I'll stand outside, let some sweat build up, get in there, and then it's nice and cool.
See, now one of the things I do is I found this at like I think it was the Dollar Tree or something, one of those reflective windshield things. So when I park, I'll put that up in reflective, and I swear that makes a difference. I mean, it's still hot when I go get in the car, but it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Reducing, how much solar energy kind of builds up in your vehicle is a big deal. You can get a ceramic, the ceramic type of coating that comes with window tint is the best for keeping that.
But because I'm the only one like that I see around here that does that, and I think it makes a huge difference.
It does.
All right, 7:26. So a few minutes here. We mentioned this. Governor Kehoe signs the bill into law that repeals part of that proposition. Was that Prop B? I think it was. No, Prop A. I think it was Prop A. The one that raises the minimum wage. That was not touched in Missouri. That's still going up. But it was also the part that says employers, almost all employers, have to accrue paid sick time and start paying out sick time. So for every 30 hours you work, you accrue an hour. And business groups are saying you're gonna really hurt small businesses with this. Voters passed it though, and so that part's been repealed. And so the left-wing groups, a lot of labor union groups and things like that, groups that regularly attack businesses and employers through policy, they say we spent all these millions of dollars to get this on the ballot, and we passed it. Voters said yes, it wasn't really close, and now you just repeal it.
Yeah, it feels icky.
Yeah, I mean, it's the checks and balances, but I got mixed feelings on it.
Well, sure. I mean,
because voters really messed up on that.
Yes, I mean, here's the long and short of it is that yes, this is the voters making a bad decision.
Yep.
The representatives of the government, who were voted in, correcting that decision. So, like you said, it's a checks and balances thing. But when the voters speak, you would think that should carry more weight. But of course, the voters spoke when they elected this person who has the power to overturn a voted in initiative. So it's a really kind of sticky, political
it really
situation.
is. And so now the supporters who put it on the ballot in the first place, because they went with a referendum, they did not do the state constitutional amendment thing.
Right.
Now, we have not gotten initiative petition reform, as we infamously know. And so they're saying, well, we're thinking about doing it again. I think they're checking to see with their donors to see if they can get the money.
Right.
And they say this time, if we do it, we're going to do it as a state constitutional amendment.
Right.
They know what the voting patterns are. And if you know that you could get 56, 57, 58% of the vote, because that's what it passed with whatever it was last time, they're like, hey, let's make it even more left wing.
Oh boy.
So this
you're right.
we may be in for another debate over this exact same thing. And they've got a sympathetic claim. You spoke on this, and those darn Republicans overturn the will of the people,
Mhm.
which honestly they kind of did.
They kind of did.
Now, it was, again, terrible policy that they repealed, but it's a really rough look. Very
Now,
rough look.
now I wonder, even though it passed, that's a wide margin in terms of the population, but would it pass muster if we had our initiative petition reform? Does it?
Yeah, that one would have passed.
It still would have passed.
That one
Okay,
would have passed.
so then it's almost moot. then.
Depending on which version you've got.
So it's almost moot.
Yeah.
So
it
it's
really is.
just a matter of whether they're going to have enough money to run the amendment campaign.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep. All right. I mean, I'm glad that policy is not in place, but the way that it's done is
It's coming.
It's ugly, and sometimes the politicians make very, very difficult decisions
Mhm.
on that. All right. Just ahead, dude. Where's my illegal, man? This is such a bizarre story, and I don't know. Maybe we ought to do something, say, fun right now, Jerome.
Yeah, and coming up as well, is Dan Bongino doing anything about info he has on Epstein?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Larry Connors can fill us in on the details coming up.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
McGuire Moving is silver certified, which means they are great at relocating senior citizens. In fact, McGuire is a household name because McGuire understands the stress involved when moving older adults. So if you or family members need help moving, I highly recommend McGuire Moving. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. Get a free in-home estimate. McGuireMoving.com.
Larry Connors Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connors Commentary on News Talk STL.
It appears that Dan Bongino is on record as having some disturbing information about Jeffrey Epstein. When Bongino had his radio program before joining the FBI, he did an interview with a podcaster. And during that session, Bongino said he was in the green room waiting to go on TV with another guest in the room who was a reporter, one that Bongino said he trusted 100%. Bongino says, a guy told me, you know, Epstein is an asset for a Middle East nation, which has all the Epstein files and videos. Bongino said, no, I didn't know that. But again, putting his faith in the reporter telling him the story, Bongino concluded that would make sense. Epstein wasn't using what he had to blackmail big political leaders. A foreign nation was. Is it true? Well, here's the current issue. Now Bongino is inside the FBI. Is he looking at that story angle? Has he already done so? What will he and Kash Patel do? This is becoming highly radioactive material for the Trump White House.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
I want to tell you more about Wellington Environmental's dustless blasting services. Wellington can blast paint, grease, graffiti, even stripes off parking lots. Truly amazing and powerful. But can Wellington blast something more sensitive? Yes, Wellington can use dry ice to blast soot and odors off smoke-damaged surfaces right after a fire. Currently, Wellington uses dry ice to clean mold off wood inside a home. Why? Well, dry ice immediately disappears, turns into a vapor. That means no mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington. Always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-5600. 4930. 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
Remember those magical moments in Mom's kitchen? The heavenly aroma of fresh baked cookies? At Trolley Stop Bakery in Chesterfield's Forum Shopping Center, our co-op of talented bakers has been perfecting that homemade magic for 4 decades. From the gooeyest cookies in town to custom pies, cobblers, and cakes, everything's made from scratch, just like Mom and Grandma's recipes. Need that perfect corporate gift? We ship our famous cookies nationwide. The Trolley Stop Bakery, 67 Forum Shopping Center, or TrolleyStopBakery.com. Because some traditions are too sweet not to share.
News, analysis, opinion.
Democrats will never win a national election again if they continue to protect criminals more than they do innocent Americans.
1019 and 94.1.
I worry for people of color.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
To let me know.
No, we have something we'd like to let you know is if you want to go with us, it's time to call. If you want to be the first caller right now to score a pair of tickets to see Lita Ford, Dee Snider, and Firehouse on October 3rd at Family Arena in St. Charles with me and the great Mike Ferguson, go ahead and call now. The lines are open.
We're going to be there.
We're going to be there.
You win those tickets, let me know. We'll say hi in the lobby or something like that. So definitely. October 3rd, it's a Friday, Family Arena, 314-912-1019. All right, 7:35 right now. Gabe, the jokes, the lowbrow, stereotyping, insensitive jokes basically write themselves on this one.
The ones that we love.
Where did immigration agents go to find illegal aliens working? A pot farm in California.
Yes, it's kind of built in. But ICE was coming to town on that case. But guess who's coming to town this time in St. Louis? That's Steve Forbes. NewsTalkSTL and the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise invite you to join us for an evening with Steve Forbes on September 18th at the Scheidegger Center on Lindenwood University's campus. This is a free event, Free, free. But you have to reserve a ticket to be there. That link is at NewsTalkSTL.com.
All right, dude. Where's my illegal?
He was right here.
Oh, my goodness.
He was right here a minute ago.
Okay, so why am I not surprised to learn that immigration enforcement was able to find a bunch of illegal aliens working at a California cannabis farm? I mean, let's just think about all of the stereotype jokes. So we get the illegal alien workers from south of the border.
Yeah.
We know California. We hear like these are just picking our crops.
Yeah, our crops of what?
Crops being wacky tobacco. I've got I'm literally reading these articles in Cheech and Chong.
Yes, that's exactly. I got Cheech in my ear right now. Just, hey man.
Hey man. Oh my goodness.
Manuel was right here, man.
And so
where did he go?
The thing is, I mean, this went like action movie level.
Yes.
The feds brought in this military helicopter and landed it right in the middle of the pot field.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh my goodness, you got these guys in the military tactical gear.
You just hold it off the roads. They're blocking off the roads.
Protesters throwing a fit, trying to jam Mexican flags with poles into the tires of these things.
Oh
which
my gosh.
wasn't going anywhere.
No.
Pepper spray or tear gas was deployed. And I'm thinking, are they mad about the workers or are they mad about
the pot? Well, the thing is, I think they were way more active than the pot type guys would be. So probably they were mad about the workers. They were mad on their behalf.
Yeah.
Who's going to pick our crops?
And I mean, it was funny because like there's this one of the idiots.
Yeah.
They had this Mexican flag.
Yeah.
And when these military, I mean, we're talking armored vehicles.
Right.
We're moving in and they were going slow and steady. They were non-verbally communicating.
We're not going to stop.
We're not going to stop. We're going to go slow, but we're not going to stop. And this one like I mean, there was a helicopter shot, so I couldn't really see whether it's a man or woman, or but trying to jam the tires
with
a wood flagpole.
Yeah, of the large military vehicle,
right? Of a military vehicle, literally built to do battle in the Middle East.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, it didn't.
But I love to see it. Here's the thing. This is what we voted for. And honestly, if the federal government decided that they wanted to make a little extra money on this, they could basically run a pay to view channel, or actually they could just monetize a YouTube channel, honestly. And just 24/7 of just rolling footage of these. Now, of course, they'd have to come out not live, but they'd have to come out after the fact, because you don't want people using them for nefarious purposes. But I guarantee that YouTube channel would blow up.
I am actually surprised that they have not done like a cops series following ICE.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That would be absolutely intense.
It would be beautiful also.
Oh my goodness. And of course, there are reports that now the protesters are bringing milk with them.
Oh,
because if they get hit with tear gas,
mm-hmm.
they're dousing themselves in milk.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to counteract that.
Yeah. That's the counter tear gas remedy is milk.
So word's getting out to the organized planned protest community. But
hopefully they didn't bring it to drink in this hot summer weather.
Because milk would be a bad choice. So, and I'm looking at the story and I'm like, okay, if we were to try to come up with like a skit on the air,
mm-hmm.
and we came up with this,
people would be like,
we'd be called into the boss's office for being so stereotypical and offensive.
It's like, you can't do that. It's like, what are you talking about? Jeff would be like, guys, I understand.
That was too far. It was funny.
I understand, but that's too much. that's too much. I can hear Jeff saying it right now. Yeah. Like, that's too much.
No, you went too far.
You went too far. It's like a pot farm, guys.
Yeah,
a pot farm.
The illegal aliens from Central and South America on the pot farm. Really?
Yeah.
No kid. Yeah.
Well, it's like, you went too far with the cheat reference.
Yeah. But I'm reading this. I read one article from the AP, another one from Newsmax. And I'm reading it in Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. That's how I was reading it.
Yes.
I mean,
the feds came out of nowhere.
Man, I was just picking the stuff. And then this guy comes and he's got the gun.
Okay.
Like, dude.
Any of you guys who are really good at like those AI podcast,
yes.
Videos, it was like, get one of the guys who's like from the first person perspective of somebody getting picked up on that pot farm. I want to see it on the internet right now.
And the funny thing is, Cheech and Chong jokes, they're always funny.
They're always funny.
These guys are getting close to 80 and they're still hilarious.
They've been funny since the 60s.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
ICE is here, man. ICE not here, man. No, I'm ICE. Come with it. No, ICE is not here.
Oh, man. It's hot. We need some ice.
We need some ice.
No,
it's like, no, we don't want ice.
No, we don't want. Yes.
We want ice, man. It's 90 degrees.
So reality is dumber than even what we could come up with the comedy.
Oh my God.
I mean, I know it's a serious issue. There's been violence in the illegal, but
right,
and
the protesters,
this. But and then I saw the video because you saw that video.
I saw the video of the helicopter landing.
And we're not talking about a little copter. We're not talking about a ghetto bird.
This is a Black Hawk.
We're talking about a full on.
Yeah, it was a big boy.
Oh my goodness!
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle of the pot field.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it.
And I'm thinking, this has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. But if you're gonna go round up a bunch of illegal aliens, I mean,
you could start at the pot farm.
Yeah, it's a target-rich environment.
I'm surprised they didn't start there. Like, honestly,
my goodness.
Like we saw some of the raids, and they seem to be just kind of random places in the city. It's like, where? What about the pot farms? Like, that's what I was like in the back of my head. I'm sure my brain was like, well, what about the pot farms?
Oh.
Especially the California pot farms. It's the entire crew is like there's one white guy with dreads. and he runs everything.
He's got the Marley t-shirt.
He's got the Marley t. Yeah. He runs it's either a Marley t-shirt or a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
That he wears open because he's got surfing later.
Right.
And he runs everything, but then the rest are are illegals. And there might be one legal immigrant who can speak English to help translate.
To translate, exactly.
I can see the entire operation in my head, and I guarantee you that was like.
And the thing is the funny part was the protesters were so animated out there. I'm like, well, if anybody needed the pot,
calm down,
people.
Calm down.
Chill out.
Hey, look, just like I'm going to turn the other way. There's a little patch right there.
That's right.
Have at it.
I mean, if something happens, it happens. I mean, that's what the reaction should. They shouldn't have been shooting tear gas. They should have been handing out doobies.
Like, just relax.
Just
relax.
Yeah, chill out, guys. Oh, these ice guys ain't so bad. Oh, good Lord. All right. Coming up on 7:50 on a Friday. You know what that means.
Not today, Satan.
Also, congratulations to our winner for the giveaway. We
Yes.
have Matthew joining us.
All right, Matthew. Yeah.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Always be yourself, unless you suck.
On NewsTalkSTL.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody. It's our favorite song. Hey, Cardinal fans, hydrate like a champ. Head to the ballpark Saturday, July 12th as the Cardinals take on the Braves. That day, 20,000 fans 16 and older score a City Connect tumbler courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Stay cool and sip in style all summer long with this 30-ounce stainless steel tumbler. Don't miss out on this fan-favorite giveaway. Grab your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. Means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
By the way, I saw an ad for that Lita Ford and Dee Snider show that we just gave away a pair of tickets to Matthew. And so there's like a lot of buzz about that. These nostalgia shows from this era. I mean, I'm geeking out about it because I love it, but it's actually like people are excited about it. If you're wanting to go, the tickets really are not that expensive. I mean, we've got a couple more pair of tickets we'll give away over the next couple of months or so. But if you really want to go, it's not expensive. Family Arena is a great place to see a show. Go ahead and get on the Family Arena's website. Just look them up and grab your seats. It's going to be a lot. I've seen Lita Ford live before. I've seen Firehouse a number of times. They're fantastic. I've never actually seen Dee Snider live. This is going to be a lot of fun out there. All right. 7:47 right now on a Friday. You know what that means in this chaotic week that we've had.
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say...
The devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. Devil.
Just somewhere to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
Amen. Okay, our first story here is about a Guinness World Record for the most expensive cheese sold at auction.
Well, isn't that special?
It's very special. I love it. Cheese. The most expensive cheese.
Okay.
Yes, I like cheese.
Yeah, sure.
The block of Cabreras cheese sold for $42,232.
Huh?
After And this was after the Regulatory Council. Apparently, there's a Regulatory Council. DOP Cabrales named it, quote, the best cheese of the competition at the 56th annual event. Or 52nd.
So we're talking like an 18-wheeler bed truckload full of cheese?
Well, weighing in at 5 pounds.
Oh.
The pricey dairy product was made with cow's milk and aged for 10 months in the Los Mazos cave in Spain, which is nearly 5,000 feet above sea level.
Huh.
So, yeah, 5 pounds of cheese,
$42,000. I mean, I can go to Aldi's and get like 20 slices for 99 cents.
yes, you can. Yes. Now, whether you can call it cheese or not, that's
it's a cheese-like.
It's
substance.
cheese-like substance.
Yes.
Now, whatever being at 5,000 feet and aged for 10 months does to the cheese, it's apparently delicious because the prestigious jury of cheese connoisseurs loved it, and so did the owner of El Ligar de Caloto, who forked over the cash for it. That's a restaurant out there in Spain. I can't imagine how expensive the dishes made from this thing are going to be.
No.
But look, I like cheese, but not that much.
No, this is more. This has little to do with the cheese. This is about I'm so rich I can buy $42,000 worth of cheese,
yes.
or I'm going to bring in customers to my restaurant who are so rich that they're going to spend $600 for a charcuterie
board with this cheese on it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could not imagine.
My grandpa used to say there are some people that just have more dollars than sense.
Yeah, that's true. But now our second story here, a flight from Australia's Melbourne airport was delayed for more than an hour due to a stowaway in the cargo hold. Snake.
Oh. Yeah, we can't use the Samuel L. Jackson sound bites.
Yeah, we can't use that one.
Do that.
Mother, snakes
so
on the mother.
Sick of these.
Yeah,
MF and snakes on this MF and plane.
Yes, classic. Now, of course, the snake did hold up the flight, so you shall not pass. Virgin Australia flight VA337 was delayed just prior to departing for Brisbane when airline personnel spotted a small snake, thankfully, in the cargo hold. Mark Pelly, aka the Snake Hunter, on social media was summoned to the airport to capture what turned out to be a harmless green tree snake. So small and harmless. All right.
Which is a little different for Australia. That is basically the entire continent is trying to eat you.
Yes, eat or poison you. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's thankful. This snake is probably smaller than their spiders. Pelly said he has removed snakes from the airport before, but this incident marked his first instance of the snake actually on the plane. So hey, it was a first snake on the plane.
Well, he was an ambitious snake.
Now, and possibly the worst part of the story, though, is that the snake catcher suspects the lost serpent had stowed away in a traveler's luggage.
So was somebody trying to sneak him out, or did he sneak in?
This is an accidental snake transportation.
Oh, wow. So the snake unzipped the bag?
The snake crawled in the bag somehow.
Oh, wow.
So either at his house, or maybe it was living there, and when you pull it, because you keep your luggage in like the back room. You know what I mean? Australia, man, I can't. They will be a constant source of stories for this segment, but I'm kind of scared of that place.
Yeah, you ever found a snake in like your home somewhere? And it's like there was one time we found a big green snake when I was living in West Central Illinois, and it was underneath the what do you call it, the deep freeze in the garage.
Oh yeah,
and it was this big green snake that was underneath there.
Yeah, because the thing is with those deep freezes, it gets warm there because it's blowing, it's exchanging the air, right? So it gets warm there, and they like those dark, warm places. I don't like snakes. In our last story, a Pennsylvania naturism group, they announced the return of, quote, Balls Out Bowling.
Oh, wow.
An annual bowling event where clothing is not allowed.
Wow.
Wide world of sports is going on here.
Because naturist is a nice way to say get naked.
Yeah, the get naked people. Yeah, I don't think this game is going to be broadcast on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, that would not work. The Pittsburgh area naturalists announced this year's Balls Out Bowling event will take place on tomorrow at Pittsburgh's Crafton Ingram Lanes. Admission to the annual event is $30, which includes 4 hours of unlimited bowling and shoe rental. The shoe rental gets me. There's people walking around with just
those bowling shoes on.
Just those ugly bowling shoes. And by the way, a friend of mine talked about the whole nudist thing and the naturist and things like that. He talked about how his friend's dad was a construction guy, and
wait, that was me.
That's your story.
No, I can tell you.
Okay. You tell the story.
Okay, so the friend is Greg Knapp,
right?
Who now Greg Knapp, you may remember, he was Michael Savage's backup host,
right?
And I worked with Greg in another city. And Greg's dad owned a construction company in Florida. And Greg told me the story once. I don't think it was on the air. And he said his dad got contracted to build, like the visual blinds and the cabins and stuff for one of these nudist camps. And Greg said, I was a teenager at the time. And he said, he was like, hey, Dad, you need some help on this job. I'm all,
that job site sounds exciting.
Yeah. And what Greg told me was, and I couldn't stop laughing for like a couple days. He said his dad got home from the first day and he just went, son, the wrong people are naked.
Yes, that's how those things go. So no photos or videos are allowed during the event. The event page states, and this is fun quote, all participants must be at least 18 years old. Thank you.
I would think so.
And all genders, sexualities, and bodies are welcomed.
Okay, so we thank them for not putting videos or anything up on that, because this is going to be an absolute hot mess, horrible situation.
Yes. Now, usually at bowling alleys, people are worried about disinfecting the shoes and the and the bowling balls, but I'm thinking those seats are going to need a good wipe down after this event.
Because bowling alleys are famous for being hygienic to start with.
Oh, this is such a terrible idea. And apparently it's a recurring one because they're bringing back the balls out bowling event, right? So this is apparently something they've done a long time. But look, if someone tries to invite me to play 10 pins with my pin hanging out, you know what I'm saying.
Look all the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. Devil.
Just know where to be sure.
Not today.
Not today.
Your wife is sitting at home right now going, oh.
He just call it his pin.
I've got to go to church with this guy this weekend.
It's like, one of our pastors is listening, right? Yes, I do know.
Righty Wright wants to issue a very special warning. The men there need to be careful at the ball return so that no incidents happen.
Yes, so that's true. That's true.
Leave with as many bowling balls as you've arrived with, okay?
Oh, jeez. I mean, and the weird part is that this is going to probably get a lot of people to turn out.
Oh gosh, yes. There's gonna be dozens of people there.
And you know what? Listen, if you're a grown up and you want to go, I guess the polite word is naturist. Have at it, man.
Go au natural.
Go do your thing. You know what? It's nature. Whatever.
Birthday suit bowling.
Whatever. Yeah. Do it. I choose not to go.
I choose
to not participate.
I choose not to acknowledge this except in funny stories
like
this.
Oh, wow. But because the thing is like there's a little bit of a morbid curiosity because when they're like all genders and that there's going to be green, purple, pink hair, lots of septum rings, and that's what's going to happen because it's going to be the people who nobody ever wants to see. Like, I'm going to make my
piercings in weird places. All the things are going to be happening. Now, here's a problem. The furries can't go.
That's true.
Because in order to be furry, you got to wear something.
Right.
I'm just saying. Furries can't be naturalists.
No.
This is a weird world that we live in. It really is. And honestly, I think part of what I have to remind myself is the reason we're allowed to be weird is because we're so prosperous and we have time enough. We have the time now that we're no longer concerned about not being eaten by lions and occasionally finding a berry or two to stuff in our gullet. We don't have to worry about those things. So now we can worry about weird bullcrap.
That's right. Golly. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I don't even know what to add to that. I just don't.
NewsTalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on NewsTalkSTL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Columbo here for my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. The knowledgeable staff at Bluff City has served the St. Louis outdoor community for decades, and they can take care of all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, all your fishing needs, and more. Plus, while you're there, you can schedule a trip with a local fishing guide and shoot in their archery range. Bluff City Outdoors is open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at BluffCityOutdoors.com.
Jamie Allman here with the Allman Report. Pleased to be with Jordan Rosenblum. Google the bagel loan. That's what it's all about. Jordan, tell me about purchasing a home, brother.
Purchasing a home right now, it's a tough market. You're going to see a lot of competition. On the bagel loan that we have, you're going to have no closing costs, no title fees, no appraisal fees, no lender fees. Saves an average client almost $4,000 on a transaction. Customer service, unbelievable. Text, call anytime.
As I know, as a real estate agent, Google the bagel loan. Google the bagel loan, folks.
NMLS number 226715.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The State Department is being hit with mass layoffs. More than 1,300 civil servants and foreign service officers are being fired. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defends the job cuts.
Our reduction in force was done, I'm very proud to say, I think, I would argue probably in the most deliberate way of anyone that's done one. We went very specifically through and reorganized the State Department.
The Trump administration has said the job cuts were overdue, but current and former diplomats say the firings will weaken U.S. influence. As the U.S. tries to broker a Russia and Ukraine peace deal, Ukrainian President Zelensky is denouncing Moscow's constant use of drones to attack his country.
These drones have been heavily upgraded to cause more destruction and to be harder to shoot down. Ukrainians now face attacks by hundreds of these drones every single night. And this is pure terrorism.
Earlier today, Russian drones killed 2 people in Kiev and damaged a maternity hospital in Ukraine's second largest city, injuring 9 people. Tasha Stevens reports on more testimony about President Biden's mental state.
An assistant to former President Biden is scheduled to testify Friday in the GOP probe of the former president's mental fitness in office. Ashley Williams is a senior Biden White House aide who previously agreed to do a closed-door interview. Her testimony comes just days after Biden's former doctor refused to cooperate in the probe after he was served a subpoena.
Starting August 1st, Canada is facing 35% tariffs on goods exported to the U.S. That announcement from President Trump last night. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. I looked at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat, but imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at INHSTL.com. That's INHSTL.com.
Basement with a Y. That's Basement E.
It's Basement T.
Basement E?
It's Basement T.
Oh, Basement T. Basement T. I get it. That's the basement waterproofing and foundation repair experts at Woods Basement Systems.
Right. The All Things Basement Tea experts at Woods Basement Systems will provide you a free estimate and dry up that wet basement and fix that cracked foundation. Call 800-388-9326 or go online to woodsbasementsystems.com.
That's woodsbasementsystems.com.
Mike Ferguson,
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf.
Gabe Phifer,
Feast your eyes on your new leader.
Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Thundercats.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, the governor completes the repeal of a voter-approved measure in Missouri, but that may not be the end of the debate. I've got the basic details for you on that. Governor Ron DeSantis says, okay, leftists, you want to come see Alligator Alcatraz? Come on in.
Yeah.
And
watch your step.
And you know what? If nothing else, the Cardinals are kind of scrappy this season. It is 8:05. Let's go and dump some news on you.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Common Sense Rentals.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
All right. Will Missourians actually get some protection from increasing property taxes, or will it just be politicians talking about it? That's one thing. As Speaker John Patterson has appointed a special committee to hold hearings and then report back to the legislature before next session, rather, I should say. We need to make sure that this is something they understand. No, we're serious about this, because what's happening right now is the legislature is understanding. And there's been a number of lawmakers who have understood this from the beginning. And I don't want to say that all of them are suddenly going, oh crap, what do we do? There are some that are leading the charge on this. And that is that we're at a point now where somebody's going to have to choose people first thinking or government first thinking. Because what's going to happen is these hearings to, collect feedback and input, those are going to begin next week in Jefferson City. They're scheduled around the state. One of them in the St. Louis area is going to happen August 20th, and that's going to be in Clayton. And we will be telling you about this, reminding you before we get to that, because here's what's going to happen is that obviously, they're going to have this probably in the middle of the day when people go to work, and it's going to be hard to get people to come out and say, my property taxes are hurting me and my family like this.
Right.
That's the one thing we can guarantee is always going to go up. It has to come out from somewhere else. And in my family, that means it's coming out of our retirement savings. It means it's coming out of our investments. It's coming out of, I want to send my kid to a different school, but I can't really pull it up. Whatever it is that it's actually doing to you. Because I guarantee you what's going to happen is that there's going to be a coordinated effort by the government entities, and we're talking about the library districts and all of the special little districts that bleed you dry. The public schools, they do not want any limits on their ability to tax you just for the privilege of continuing to own your own property.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just saw a report that says that the Ferguson Florissant School District, that's the one in my neck of the woods. They're about to borrow $25 million amid a budget crisis that is I think going on several years in a row at this point, right?
Yeah, and they say, but that's not going to raise property taxes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I believe it's not going to be on the ballot. They're not going to raise it this year,
Mhm.
but at some point you got to pay that bill back.
Yeah.
And our property values skyrocketing in the Florissant Ferguson School District?
Sure are.
Right.
Yeah. That's another way for them to increase the revenue from property taxes is simply to increase the values.
Yeah. So here's one of the things that is we have to keep in mind is we are right now at a point where we have the ability, because there is an appetite for it in the Missouri legislature. There's not in Illinois, but on the Missouri side, there is, to say, you start thinking of us before you start thinking of the government entities. You start thinking of us before you start thinking of City Hall,
right?
Before you start thinking of the library board. All the things that we were in the past told, well, it's untouchable. You can't speak out against the bond issue for the school district. It's for the children.
It's for the children.
No, you've got men walking around in dresses and pornography in your schools.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You don't need any more of our money. And there's only so much money to go around. And to be really honest, my household is more important to me than your government agency is, even if that's a school or a library. I'm more important to me than you are. End of story.
You have 8 vice principals and 24 administrators per teacher. Essentially, it's like, no, you don't need any more of our money.
You have a DEI coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have all of no, you don't need that at all.
And our kids can't read.
Yeah, precisely. All right. So August 20th is when that's going to happen in Clayton, and that's going to be at the Clayton Center over there on Gay. All right. A group of state lawmakers in Florida denied access to the newly built illegal alien detention center in the Everglades. So now they're taking legal action against Ron DeSantis. It's funny because they'll show up, whether it's Congress or state reps or whatever, the combination. They're like, we're here for oversight. We're elected by the people, as though that means that's my license to go anywhere, anytime, to do whatever I want, because don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So the governor was on Fox's Jesse Waters Primetime, and he says, you know what? This facility is achieving what people actually want, especially when they voted.
Alligator Alcatraz is going to enhance the ability of the federal government to do more deportations of illegal aliens. And that's what people want to see. That's what a lot of us voted for. And that's what the rule of law calls for.
And the governor says, oh, they can look around. We'll let them in this weekend. They can come and get a tour. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of illegal aliens already there. But yeah, they can look around and get a feel for it. And I hope it's as rough as what these leftists are crying about.
Let me introduce you to the head of MS-13. Let me introduce you to a major enforcer for Tren de Aragua. He's only killed 12 people in America this time. You know, we would like to make that 0 from here forward, so we're sending him home.
Or if he's going to kill somebody, he can do it in his own country.
Exactly.
Yeah, he could do it there. Yep. All right. Let's see here. Velda City, which is in North County, is going to have 24-hour police patrols again soon. They don't have that at the moment.
They got enough.
Yeah, for just a little over a year now, they've been contracting with Pagedale Police, who has given them 12 hours a day of patrolling. But what's happening is this week, city officials in Velda City agreed to join the North County Police Cooperative, and they are the 10th community to do that. Velda City's police department disbanded in March of 2024. It was a mess. Police chief quit, walked away. There was a city official who's now been indicted because the money's missing. And so basically the people of Velda City have been screwed for over a year because crime has gone way up since the police department disbanded and the city could only arrange for half a day's worth of police patrols.
Yeah. And this is Velda City has just under 1,200 people.
Right.
So it's a tiny little municipality among many tiny little municipalities. You know, they try to have their own services, but it's really difficult when you only got 1,200 people.
Exactly. All right. This is interesting. Voters said yes, but legislators and the governor said no. On Thursday, Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill that repeals the state's new mandate that requires almost all employers to provide paid sick time. Voters passed that measure last November. Now, it was a referendum. It was not a constitutional amendment. It was a referendum. So basically, voters passed a law is what happened there. Supporters of the measure say they're considering putting it back on the ballot this time. they would do it as a state constitutional amendment as opposed to a referendum. And this passed pretty handily. This wasn't one of those narrow squeakers. It was a bad decision, but if you voted for it, you got it wrong. So what's happened is that also included big increases in the state's minimum wage, which is also going to hurt small businesses as well. But the lawmakers and the governor did not touch that.
Okay.
But this other part they did do. So for every 30 hours of work that you did at whatever job, you were supposed to accrue 1 hour's worth of paid time off.
Right.
And so the optics are not good for the Republicans, but in Missouri, they really don't have to worry about it. Let's be really candid.
Really.
And the business community really, really wanted this. So here's where we're at. Is the groups that got this on the ballot the first time. We're talking organized labor groups. We're talking left-wing groups. We're talking socialist groups. We're talking, and that's by their own self-definition.
Yeah.
And they ended up bringing in millions of dollars to do this. And so
they ran a successful campaign. And they won. And so they're saying, well, we're back to the drawing board. We spent all this money. Voters said, yes, we won. And now, lawmakers and governor just overrode it. Right.
I get the optics on that.
Sure.
I really do. So if they say, well, if we're going to go do it again, then we're going to do it as a constitutional amendment and not allow you to. And I'm telling you, I've been around the block enough times that if they're going to go to that trouble, they're not putting the exact same thing on the ballot. They're going to load it with socialist stuff.
They're going further.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I bet you there's going to be another minimum wage increase. Built in. There's going to be another bunch of
and it's
other
not going to
things.
be 1 hour for every 30 hours work.
No.
It's going to be something a lot more. Yeah. And who knows what else they're going to put in there.
I'll tell you this. It's going to pass and it's going to hurt.
If and because we don't have initiative petition reform, and it's really complicated right now because we need initiative petition reform, but we also want to pass the new Amendment 3 to put pro-life stuff back in. And
so we got to wait.
And so this is more of the consequences of Republicans letting us down with the original effort to enact initiative petition reform.
How many sessions ago were they promising this?
Doing this?
Yeah, seriously.
All right. The Cardinals win their series against the Nationals 2-1. They won 8-1 last night. Wilson Contreras had a home run. Let's see here. Cardinals start a series at home tonight against the Braves. 7:15 game. This one's actually going to be on over-the-air TV. So Matrix Channel 32 basically is they're taking FanDuel's coverage and they're putting it over the air. So you can watch this one for free tonight on Channel 32.
I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
We Democrats know so much. That is true. And we have to kind of tell everybody how smart we are.
On NewsTalkSTL.
How do you find a roofing contractor you can trust? You could randomly pick one and cross your fingers. Or here's a better idea. Choose Expert Group Contracting. We're proud to use America's most trusted roofing brand, Owens Corning. That means we've been screened for reliability, professionalism, and customer service. Residential or commercial roofing, licensed, insured, and offering free estimates. Why take chances on your roof? Visit expertgroupcontracting.com. That's expert with an X, groupcontracting.com.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Exciting things are happening at the Hideout in High Ridge. Famous for the Sunset Patio, 4 big screen TVs, live music and events, and of course, the wings. The Hideout now has a brand new menu featuring handcrafted burgers and new items like their signature sunset dip and Dave's Chili. And now a second location, the Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course in High Ridge, featuring great event space. You can stop by for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout and the new Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course. We'll see you there.
For 3 generations, one family has ruled the road in quality asphalt paving. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. Family owned and operated. We're your leading authority for driveways, lanes, and parking areas. No project is too small or too large. We cater to both residential and commercial needs with unbeatable quality at just $38 per square yard plus labor. Call 636-295-9949. 636-295-9949. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. You save when we pave.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
Got a little 80s punk going on.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite bands, and I completely forgot how old they were. No offense.
Easy.
But yeah, 1981, Misfits. Ask for
Yeah,
Zombies.
Misfits, yeah. It's kind of funny because this is one of those bands where you see like kids walk around with Misfits t-shirts now, and it's one of those, name a song.
Yeah.
You know, who are that? They probably wouldn't.
No, the
A lot
best
of
way to
them
catch, are you Michael Graves fan or are you Danzig fan?
Right,
And they're
exactly,
like,
yeah.
who?
Yeah,
What?
see, I remember the Danzig area. I mean, that's what I remembered from them. So, all right, 819. Senator Josh Hawley says he's not buying the, believe it or not, the administration story on something. We'll get to that in just a second. It is 819 right now. Let's see here. Let's promote something. What do you want to promote?
How about the newsletter?
Let's do it.
The newsletter is pretty awesome, guys. I don't know if you you know this, but it goes out once a week. It gives you some of the latest big headline news stories of the week, as well as an exclusive Todd Showalter political cartoon. It only hits your inbox once a week. We're not going to sell your data, so you're not going to get various junk mail from our various affiliates. But it's a good way to keep up with what's going on. And hey, if you were already a News Talk STL newsletter subscriber, you would have got the skinny on the Steve Jobs appearance.
Forbes, yeah.
Forbes. Gosh, why did I say Jobs?
Yeah.
Steve Forbes appearance coming up at Lindenwood University.
Yeah, you got the sneak peek. That's they were the people who knew the first people to know were the newsletter subscribers. Okay, so before I get to this Josh Hawley thing, you know what? There are times where every married man has heard their wife say, "You're not paying attention to me."
Yes, that's true.
You know, do you even know I'm here? You know, it's like you ignore me. Every married man has I think been through that.
Yes,
at some point.
Yes.
But there's a guy in France who took that to a whole new level.
Oh, no.
So he was out on a road trip, a little mini vacation with his wife last weekend, stopped at a gas station. She goes out to get whatever, drove off without her.
Oh, no. No.
Didn't figure it out for almost 200 miles.
200 miles?
So they're not releasing his name. He's 62 years old. His wife is 60.
He's got enough problems.
Their 22-year-old daughter was with them, but the daughter was asleep in the back seat, so she didn't have anything that was going on, didn't know what was going on. So they left Paris for Morocco last Friday, to get out in front of the traffic.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's about a 27-hour drive, and they were making a number of stops along the way.
As you do.
Pulled into a gas station early in the morning, fueled up, and then he left without her. And 186 miles later, he's like, "Wait, where'd she?"
I feel like I forgot something.
The thing is, yeah, I think
he's
I
checking
forgot
his
something.
pockets.
My goodness,
I feel like
why is it so quiet in here? Oh, sorry, did I say that?
I was gonna say, like, why did he notice it was quiet?
Yeah. So,
I guess maybe it's early in the morning and everybody was, if his daughter was sleeping, maybe she was originally sleeping. So he just, I don't know.
Four whatever hours later,
4 hours.
He had made multiple stops. He didn't remember which gas station he'd left her at.
Oh no. He made more stops after that
and it didn't register. Oh my goodness. Or even what city?
Bro,
they stopped in multiple cities.
You better find a friendly doctor to give you a dementia diagnosis, because you're not coming back from that otherwise.
Oh wow. So the police eventually tracked her cell phone when he was calling them like, I've lost my wife. And so they found her.
Couldn't he have just called her and say, what gas station are you
That's
at?
what I would think, but but then again, I could also see her like, oh, if he thinks I'm picking up the phone, because she had been sitting at a gas station for 4 hours.
Oh no.
4 hours.
Oh my gosh. Wow. He can't come back from this.
Oh, I don't know how you do. She gets to hold this over his head for the rest of his life.
He's got, I mean, you don't have enough time to come back from it. You're 60 something, bro. This is at least a 30-year recovery.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure you're gonna last.
Right.
She might forgive you on your deathbed.
Maybe. But she's going to remind you.
She's gonna remind you that
before your last breath.
Yeah, seriously.
I love you. It's been a fair, wonderful life. By the way, remember that time. Because I do.
Because I do.
My next husband won't do that. Goodbye. Oh, man.
How do you leave your wife someplace? I don't understand.
Oh, I read that story. I'm like, oh, boy. I mean, I was like hurting for him.
Seriously.
Not even so much because of the panic of realizing he'd left her, but the panic that sets in when you realized I'm going to have to deal with it.
Exactly. It's not just that you made a mistake. It's that the consequence is going to be epic.
Yeah.
And frankly, it should be. I mean, if you forgot your what, look, if you drive away, it's like, okay, it's early in the morning. I'm kind of sleepy. I was, and at the next stop, maybe it's like at least, if not a few miles down the road, it's been 30 minutes. She's not here.
Yeah.
Next to me. Maybe I should turn around. 4 hours,
4
bro.
hours.
4 hours.
4 hours and 186 miles.
Come on.
No, see, here's my hypothesis.
Yeah, okay.
Is that he realized pretty early on, and then he said, "But I'm making great time. Traffic is clear." Got all the way there, and then realized, oh, the reservation's in her name. I have to go back and grab her.
I've been able to pick whatever song I've wanted.
It's so peaceful here.
Oh man,
daughter's quiet.
Yeah. Good Lord. All right. Okay. So Senator Josh Hawley says he's not buying it.
Right.
He is not buying the story that the Department of Justice and the Trump administration are selling right now. Now, this is significant because obviously Josh Hawley is a big loyal supporter of Donald Trump, but he did an interview with Missouri Net, and we have actually linked that on our Rumble chat box as well. And he calls the entire situation, and the situation meaning the Trump administration saying, well, we don't have a client list. Investigation's closed. It's all we can do. We're just done with it. Just believe us and move on.
You're still talking about
You're still talking about this creep? Yeah.
We got other stuff going on.
Yeah. Josh Hawley calls that situation, I'm quoting him here from the Missouri Net article, a bunch of deep state talk. And he says an independent investigation may be needed to get to the truth of who Epstein provided trafficking victims to. Obviously, there's no plan that we know of for an investigation of that sort. And I'll be really honest, in theory, is Senator Hawley correct in that it would take a completely independent investigation to maybe get to the truth at this point, because we can't trust Pam Bondi's Department of Justice or frankly, the Trump administration on it, just like we couldn't trust the Biden administration on it.
He's probably right in
He's
that.
probably right in theory, in concept, but does anybody involved in this conversation, including everybody as part of News Talk STL is watching or listening right now, do you believe that that's even possible in Washington, D.C., that there could be an independent investigation that would have access to all of the information that's actually been collected that hasn't been destroyed? Does anybody think that that actually is possible? I have zero faith that that's even possible right now.
Yeah. Ultimately, the problem is, when it comes to the deep state, it's like you end up with a who watches the watchers sort of situation, right? All of the investigative power, all of the information holding, all of that stuff is bound within the context of the deep state.
Yeah.
And those people have been there through multiple administrations. They're going to continue to be there after this administration is gone. They essentially answer to no one. as best as we can tell, that seems to be the case. So if you say, well, we're going to bring an independent group of people in, well, who are the types of people who would be qualified to do these investigations? They're their friends. They're their colleagues. They served in the same capacity as the current people who are there, and they're now working in the private sector or something like that. It's like they're not going to come in and then incriminate or run roughshod over their friends' work. That's not going to happen.
No.
So who is independent? Does it even exist in Washington, D.C. anymore?
And so I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, well, nothing we can do. We lost. Let's move on. I don't think people are going to move on here. I think there's something about this scandal that we know goes so deep, and we know it doesn't matter what party you're in. And I think there's a lot of people also really feeling the sting right now because the candidate who said part of my campaign platform is I'm going to expose this suddenly say, oh, nothing there. Why are you even talking about it? I think they're feeling a sting of that. So I think people are realizing this is a matter of at some point, apparently you can become so powerful or so rich or so connected that you can literally get away with human trafficking and our government will protect you.
Yeah. Oh, it's so disgusting to think.
Yeah. And that's what's hitting a lot of people right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, good on Senator Hawley for saying that. Congressman Eric Burleson, he's more blunt.
He's been hitting it hard too.
Yeah. Saying he's like, this is a cover up.
Mm-hmm.
This is a scandal. This is not justice.
It's unacceptable.
And
it doesn't end here. He's going to keep going. However,
and I know he'll try.
But again, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Exactly. So, but the reason that you've got some loyalists to President Trump stepping away from him on this is because of the people on the right who are saying, no, we're not allowing this. We are speaking up.
Yes.
We're not going to be tribal right now. And that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Got some thoughts? Let me know. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Be prepared for a hot one today. The mercury climbing to 96 this afternoon, and with humidity riding fairly high, it'll feel more like 102. Meanwhile, a spot thunder shower possible, but odds are low and only around 20%. Overnight tonight, though, a cluster of weakening thunderstorms rolls in from the northwest, eventually dying off completely somewhere in our area, down to 75 for the low. And then a batch of scattered thunderstorms redevelops Saturday afternoon. Looks fairly spotty. Not as hot tomorrow at 90. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary.
The new Superman movie went woke and will probably flop. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
The director of the new Superman movie is seemingly trying to Bud Light Snow White his own movie. He's trying to spin the iconic story of Superman into a woke joke tale of an illegal immigrant. And in case you thought his comment wasn't about politics, well, he told Variety that yes, it's about politics, but on another level, it's about morality. He also doesn't seem to care that it turns people off. And again, in his comments, Gunn conveniently forgot to delineate between immigrants and illegals, but that's par for the course. What's also par for the course is that American audiences and consumers are sick of being lectured on the liberal bleeding heart flavor of the week issue. Is nothing sacred? Can entertainment just be entertainment? Politics does not have to creep into every facet of daily life, and it shouldn't. I don't know if this movie will tank because of it, but I can tell you I won't be seeing it. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, and this week on Serenity Wealth Now Radio, we've got very special guest. News Talk STL's very own Jeff Allen joins us in the studio. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes News Talk STL so successful in serving the St. Louis community. and what's going on in the local radio scene. So tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., and always on SerenetyWealthNow.com and social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Is your pup in need of a spa day? At Pretty Little Paws, we believe grooming should be a stress-free, tail-wagging experience. Our one-on-one, fear-free grooming ensures your furry friend gets the gentle, personalized care they deserve. No noisy kennels or long waits, just love, patience, and expert grooming in a calm, relaxing environment. Because a happy pup means a happy you. Pretty Little Paws, with 2 locations in O'Fallon and St. Peters. Visit us online at prettylittlepawsgrooming.com.
Back pain? Follow me to Esquire Sports Medicine, where they've got your back. Esquire is the oldest sports medicine clinic in St. Louis. Dr. Draghi and his team of chiropractors can get you back to work, back to life without the pain. New patients usually scheduled within 24 hours. 314-644-0885. 644-0885. EsquireSportsMedicine.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Don't always agree, but in love listening to your radio station. This is tyrannical stuff they're doing.
Elections have consequences. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
So there's another one-hit wonder, went by the name Taco.
Yeah.
Again, like Electric Avenue you played a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
This song was huge because this was the early days of MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And, he had the weird, Buster Poindexter type of makeup. I think a lot of this character ended up showing up in Buster Poindexter a couple years later. But yeah, it was, this was a really huge song. I'm going to say 82, 83, something like that.
Yeah, it was definitely early 80s.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, this is actually a cover song
Yeah,
of a
that's right.
much
That's
older
right.
song.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's what I loved about it. The music video is absolutely hilarious. I love it.
Yes,
Check
it
it
is
out.
hysterical. 8:35 right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in one of those goofy moods today because I had a game last night. I was playing in Edwardsville last night, so I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So I'm a little loopy last night. Here's the story. Now, I went into the game knowing that our chances of winning were not great. We were just playing a really, really good team,
Mm-hmm.
now. And so it's funny because in my league, we've got a 10-run rule. So you get to the 7th inning, and if one team's ahead by 10 runs or more, then they just call the game. It's a mercy rule thing. And we were heading into that inning, and we were down by, I don't know, 12 runs, 12, 13 runs.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, they were whooping us. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? If it gets 10 runs, I don't want to lose the game, but if we're going to lose, let's do it early and then I get home and get a little more sleep. Well, then my team comes alive. We score like 5 runs. Now I want to win the game. I'm a ball player,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, oh, we got to keep going. So I get to home plate because now we got to play another inning. We ended up running into a time limit anyway. But I got to the plate. I looked at the umpire. I'm like, Bob, I got mixed feelings about this, because we came back within like 5 runs. So we made it a game, and then they pulled out ahead of us again and ended up winning the game. But I'm like, I'm supposed to always, and I always try to play to win, everything. But at one point I'm like, if we're going to lose, let's lose now instead of an hour from now. Yeah,
let's beat rush hour at least,
Right. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, I'm playing tonight. That was Edwardsville last night. Tonight I'm in O'Fallon, Missouri. Actually, I'm gonna be at Ozzy's. Yeah, Ozzy's sports complex out there tonight. Okay, so there's a billboard in Cleveland that has really got some people in that community upset. Okay, have you seen those ones around here in St. Louis that say "I buy ugly houses"?
Yes.
And so basically you've got investors who say, I want to buy crappy houses for pennies on the dollar. I'll basically put in kind of the minimum amount of renovation, then try to flip them. And that's really what these are doing. Or I'll try to, sell them to somebody who will fix them up and rent them or whatever the case is. So we're talking house flippers who are trying to get cheap property. That's what we're talking about. And so around here, it's I buy ugly houses or we buy ugly houses or whatever it is. Well, in Cleveland, there's a billboard out there that says, I'm quoting now, yes, I buy crack houses.
Oh,
oh my goodness.
No.
And there is a backlash in Cleveland because basically you've got this out-of-state investor who is saying, hey, I'm going to come and let me buy up your ghetto for pennies on the dollar. Let me buy your crack houses. Let me buy the hoe house. Let me buy the trap house.
Yeah.
And so, some other local real estate investors like, that's not funny. That's going too far. And so they're basically arguing this hurts a community because if you're putting about the billboard, you got a crappy town here, sell it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I lived there and if I were like a lifelong person, I would probably not be wild about it. I mean, it's real easy for me to go, I've been to Cleveland. I'd stay out of those neighborhoods. There are actually some nice areas of Cleveland. And if I saw that would crack me up. I mean, if I saw that billboard going into, parts of North City, especially before the tornado, you'd kind of go, that stings, but it's kind of funny.
Well, unless it's your house. I mean,
Right.
like, that's not what I said I wanted listed for my property.
Oh, jeez.
Because we did have something similar, but for cars back in where I'm from.
Yeah.
And people would get mad and post over Facebook, like, who put this flyer on my car? This
That's
is
right.
like, it's not a piece of junk.
Oh man. Well, some other billboards they has, in addition to yes, I buy crack houses, is your house is trash. I'll pay cash.
Wow,
man. And so it's a
Brutal.
guy named John Williams, who is an investor who's kind of launched this campaign. And so media finally tracked the guy down. They're like, people are mad at you, for this. And so here's what he actually had to say in response to it.
What we do is we buy homes generally that are dilapidated, abandoned, not occupying, no one's living in them. And so what we do is we buy these properties, we fix up these homes, and they're affordable housing. When you have a headline, when you mention crack houses or abandoned houses, it gets attention. It brings attention to the issue, and it also brings in leads for which we could acquire these properties that are just sitting there, and it's a big win for everyone.
So basically, he's like, yeah, and you don't like it, then don't have much crack houses in your neighborhood.
I mean, it is effective marketing. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
deny that.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I would not want, if I was moving to a new area, potentially looking for like a home to move into, something affordable, something to maybe start a family in. And I'm seeing all of these billboards saying, hey, crack houses. I'm going to say, well, I'm not moving here. Absolutely not.
See, and that's a fair reaction. That's a fair response. I mean, if it's your neighborhood, this hurts bad.
Yeah.
This he's got a First Amendment right to say that. And probably even the people who live there, they know what's going on. But when you put that out there, that's going to have a deleterious effect on, if not the actual dollar values, because it sounds like there weren't that much dollar value to start with, but on kind of the morale of a community. So I'm empathetic, but because hypocritically, I don't live there, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, if that billboard were in front of my street, I'd be mad too, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, because again, if you were coming home and you saw a new billboard in the area and it said, don't be a bum, sell me your slum, you're like, whoa, what are you saying about the people that live here? But sometimes most effective marketing, and especially if his goal is to actually improve the lots and make them more inhabitable, it sounds like it could still be a net benefit. So it's like, are you willing to set your pride aside and watch some homes get improved or not?
See, and here's the brutal part of the free market. So let me apply it to my free marketeering here on this. What that guy said is basically he ended with saying, this is a win for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is he in business? Is he altruistic and wants to build up poor neighborhoods? No. He wants to make money. But he identified that I can buy these cheap, I can renovate them, and then I can add to the marketplace of lower income housing, lower cost housing. So he's got a financial incentive to provide something in the market, and he's doing it in a blunt, brutal way. But he's identified the market, and you can go back to Mises, you can go back to Hayek, you can go to Sol, you can go to you can go to all of these, Bastiat, you can go to whoever. You can go to them, and one of the themes is that you're gonna see in their writings is improvement often happens because of people's selfish interest. Harry Brown wrote a lot on that.
Yeah.
You know, your motivation for profit. Thomas Sowell, said, why is it, greed to want to keep my own money, but not greed to want to take somebody else's money? I'm misquoting him, but that's essentially what he's saying. But it's basically like, you call it greed, you call it profiteering, but he's specifically saying there's a market for low cost housing, and I found a way to do it. So if he can make money and he can add to the lower cost housing, because you're not going to take a trap house and renovate it with some new, cabinets from IKEA and sell it for $800,000 in the Midwest. You're not going to do that. He says everybody wins, and he's actually correct, even though he's probably not saying, I'm going to go into business and really help those poor single mothers who have 6 kids and are on Section 8. That's not what he's doing. He's saying, how am I going to make some money? And the free market allows somebody to come in regardless of their intentions, deliver something that helps people even in low income areas, and gives them access to something that government programs aren't going to do efficiently or effectively.
That's actually a really good point. Sometimes it is indeed profitable to do something that just so happens to benefit a community, because I'm thinking back of some of the areas in this area, but back home where I'm from, and there are places where the people, they become squatter areas, they become dilapidated, they become hazards because of all the just neglect and everything that goes along with that. And so if somebody can come in there and say, hey, I'll take that off your hands, I'll assume the responsibility, I'll assume the risk involved with that, and that potentially gets people that contribute to those sorts of lifestyles out of that area, then it's a net positive, even if the guy's making money.
Yeah. And the fact that he's making money, to me, should indicate to everybody else, hey, you want to make some money? Solve some problems. There's good money in solving problems.
Unless you're the government.
Yeah.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coat, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dressed up like $1 million trooper.
Chris Arps here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. And of course, for dessert, I get a giant chocolate chip cookie. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Taste the difference that fresh local makes. Anthony's Produce supports our local farmers by bringing you the finest locally grown produce in town. From the juiciest peaches and melons to the sweetest corn and ripest tomatoes, we've got it all. Plus, discover our amazing selection of locally made jams, salsas, pickles, and fresh sourdough breads. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6:30, and Sundays, 8 to 5. 701 Jungerman Road in St. Peters, or visit anthonysproduce.com.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Attention reptile lovers, ready to discover your next scaly friend? Welcome to the Show Me Reptile Shop, your ultimate destination for fascinating reptiles and exotic pets, with 3 convenient locations in Troy, St. Peters, and Springfield. We have an amazing selection of snakes, lizards, turtles, and more. Whether you're a seasoned herpetologist or a curious beginner, we've got the perfect pet waiting for you. Show Me Reptile Shop. Visit us in Troy, St. Peters, or Springfield, and online at showmereptileshow.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
A can't-miss segment with Larry Connors Friday at 9:25 concerning Jeffrey Epstein and Dan Bongino. Don't miss it.
Weekday mornings at 9
on News Talk STL.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, it's Vic and Ken. We're on every Monday through Friday on News Talk STL. Kenny, how are you?
I'm good.
You know, you got to be some kind of weirdo to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do radio.
Do, believe me.
And that weirdo is Mike Ferguson in the morning show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh.
Great Billy Joel song. The Flashback Friday request been kind of all over the map, and this has been fun. I mean, we've gone from Kool and the Gang to the Misfits and to Billy Joel now. This has been a blast.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and that seems to be a recurring theme of a lot of 80s music as I, go through a lot of the requests is you had so much more variety, it felt like.
Yeah.
And, and I know you guys have talked about this on air, but
Yeah.
I mean, really to be able to go from something like the Misfits to something like this to something like Putting on the Ritz, we have like maybe 4 genres that are even popular right now, and a lot of them just use the same kind of musical structure.
Very
we lost
formulaic.
a lot of that.
Formulaic. Yeah, there was a lot of creativity at that time, which is probably why this era stuck. I mean, like, we gave away a pair of tickets to that 80s hair metal show, and obviously it's getting more attention through this show because I'm such a big fan of that genre of music. But there really is a big market for that era. And as a matter of fact, there's now this wave of those bands making new music.
Yeah.
And they're making it in that style that they made 40 years ago, and people are buying it.
There was actually, because the interesting thing about the current year is because we do have access to more recording equipment and ability to actually publish our music independently. There are a lot of underground musical movements that are getting popular on things like, like streaming services and the internet.
Is Spotify still where it's at, or is it,
well, yeah. And then, it's like SoundCloud, stuff like that. But disco of all genres, there is a whole movement right now with people that are creating modernized versions of, like, not covering, but actual new disco type music.
We need to stop that. we need a revolt. We need an uprising.
Kill it again.
That's right.
This time with fire.
Kill it dead to kill it. Yeah. Oh man. No, but it's that's one of the things that I think that's been so much of a complaint, and we're going to probably see with AI is a lack of creativity in all sorts of things. I mean, we know that from the get-go. I mean, probably within minutes of people learning about AI, we know people were abusing it.
Yeah.
We know that immediately it became a nightmare for teachers in high schools and colleges, period. We now know that there have been cases of lawyers getting in trouble because they had AI write their arguments and legal strategies. And it just messed stuff up. People, we know that AI has a tremendous tool to enhance creativity. I mean, we use it on this show.
Oh, yeah.
But it also has a big possibility of deadening creativity as well if we rely on it like a crutch instead of looking at it as a tool.
Yeah, and it's not so much just the creative element, because I know that in certain commissioned art worlds, they're actually doing, they're the ones that are fighting to regulate AI, saying, hey, well, we make our money doing custom artwork, graphic design, stuff like that.
Right.
And now we're not getting paid because people are taking our stuff, putting into AI, modifying it, and then but also just our critical thinking skills, I think, are like very rapidly. We're seeing people that instead of being able to form a specific opinion or do their own sort of research into something, they're relying on AI to say, oh, is this correct or not? And then if you really look at the prompts and what it's referencing, sometimes it's referencing blog posts or social media posts or opinion pieces, things that are not concrete evidence that back it. But because AI said it, it has to be infallible.
Well, and we talked to the folks from Media Research Center, last week, I think it was, saying that what we're finding now is that who is building AI in this infantile stage of it? Well, that's what's shaping what AI is going to tell us.
Yeah.
And that's why there's such a big push to have the foundation be as leftist as possible, which is why it matters what framework and what regulatory aspect we put in to AI. I want it to be as free market as we can possibly make it. We're also in a race against China because AI is going to do a bunch of our thinking for us because there are too many people in our community who don't want to do the thinking themselves.
And that's where I think that the paradox of AI kind of comes into, is that on the one hand, you do need some sort of gatekeeper to say, hey, you know, don't trust this conspiracy blog for information about things that are verifiably, you know, provable outside of that. But you also have to have, I mean, how do you determine who has the ethical credibility to sit there and not say, well, we're going to exclude these sources because we don't like them, even if they are legitimate sources, and we're only going to focus on these because, yeah, and it's.
Well, let's also look at the commercial aspect, because, like, for instance, I did a story here, and I didn't tell you and Gabe I was doing it. And I played the song. Like, what do you think of this band? Because they're like the biggest new thing on one of these, and you guys were like, it's okay, it's not bad. Well, it was a completely AI creation, and your reaction was, burn it.
Yes,
you're a musician.
Yes.
You play the drums and a couple other things. You've been that at one point, that's what you were doing for a living, was playing music. So you get the creativity aspect of it. At the same time, we put stuff up on our video stream all the time of AI images, and there's probably some graphic artist or cartoonist going, hey, whoa. That's how I make my living. What are you doing?
Yes.
And so, you know, AI can probably at some point start doing architecture. There's going to be an architect who goes, wait a minute. That's how I make my living. I mean, it's like the light bulb put the candle maker out of work. The assembly line, you know, put the you know, some construction people out of work, you know. I mean, it's a natural progression of what we've got. And there's always a disruption, and somebody's going to be displaced. And if we want to stop and say, no, we can't move forward with these new tools because this person's going to be left behind, you eventually hold everybody behind. So you adapt. And does that mean somebody gets screwed? Yeah. I mean, at some point, we know now there are radio stations that have quote unquote personalities that are completely AI. Now, right now, those are music stations, but they can interact on the phone with people, and people can't tell the difference.
And that is where, again, I 100% agree that the way that societies, there's a natural evolution of societies. Once there's anything that's available that would allow an individual to enhance productivity or to make their job easier. And again, as much as I have a dislike for AI on principle, I do acknowledge that if you can learn how to properly incorporate it, and some jobs actually require you to learn how to incorporate it into your position, then you are going to be able to win essentially against everybody out there that's not currently doing that. But then the counter side of that is, when we get to the point where it's indistinguishable if we were interacting with a person. I saw this video, and I don't know if it was a staged video or if it was an actual legitimate video. People were claiming it was real, but I've been joking for a few months now. Eventually, we're gonna have an AI politician that's going to be, saying all the right things to get everybody to support him and love him, and it's never going to be a real person. This streamer, this guy was going through on a stream. Somebody said, that's AI, right? And they're like, no way. He went through all the little details of all the photos going on the website that was attached to the candidate. It turns out that this was an entirely AI made-up candidate with a made-up website. And then AI bots had joined into his chat and were trying to defend him. Like, oh, no, this is the greatest candidate. Go to the profile. It was made a few moments ago. So we are already at that point of where it's almost like a point of no return. This is just here to stay as long as we have electricity.
Yeah. So here's what first of all, my cabin in the mountains or the woods sounds even better to me right now. I'm just saying that's my retirement plan. But the other aspect of this is, don't run away from it. Learn it. Use it. There's so much that we are going to be able to do with it. So some people are going to abuse it. We need to learn to use it.
Yeah.
I'm fighting off another sneeze.
Well, no, and that's, again, the person that learned way back in the day to how to use iron instead of stones, that blacksmith was able to make better armor. And so there is not to be like a panicking, doomed dystopian person, because it ultimately comes down to how we integrate it, and the way that we integrate it comes down to our understanding of it. And so if we do a better job to actually understand what goes into it, what the limitations are, because again, not every AI is going to be the same.
No.
But that is where I think that humans are going to be able to ultimately sustain ourselves. Now, the downside is that in a free market, there are going to be a lot of jobs that are destroyed. What do we do with those people that are outsourced by AI at that point, though?
They need to learn. They're going to have to learn new skills. I may have to learn new skills at some point. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, that's the free market in it. And I'd rather have the dangerous freedom than the comfortable dependency.
Interesting.
That's-
We're all going to be janitors wiping down the mainframes for the
Just pay me well, right? Pay me well. All right, Vic Porcelli coming your way here. Have a great weekend, everybody.